I'm coming for all of you. Right now, there's a 15-year-old sophomore in high school who has no idea they're studying nursing just so they can wipe my ass in 17 years. I'm 50 and single. That's a fantastic combination. I'm going to spend my golden years dating a handful of spit and a jug of Astroglide.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Once again, coming to you from inside the fishbowl that we have here located in the apartment in California. You guys have all been very nice to me and telling me last week that all of my thoughts were unfounded and my words were foolish and I shouldn't be caring so much about the sound quality. And you guys know also that it's not really about the sound quality. It's about me and trying to be a serious person. Not a serious person, a serious man. I want to have a Coen Brothers movie made about me, as if I were some sort of Jewish serious dude. I'm none of those things. I'm not Jewish nor serious, probably not even a dude. You know, because in the old days, a dude meant a guy who who he couldn't scrap. He was like a cowboy who showed up where there were cowboys, and everybody's like, that guy's just a fucking dude. Because there were cowboys, and then there were dudes, and then there were tin horns. If you know what that is, you know what a tin horn is? Tin horn is a dude. And so there's cowboys and tin horns and dudes. And I have to throw in an obligatory oh my at that point, correct? God damn it. You know what? Every time I start the show now, I feel like I have like hold on, I gotta... Sorry. That sounded gross, I'm sure to all of you. It felt like I had like spit in my mouth, like excess spit. You know, and I will tell you this. Last week, everybody stepped up and they're like, dude, you know, we should probably think about getting you a new microphone. Or, hey, there's other things we could possibly help you out with. I'll tell you this. Get me a new mouth. Right now, if you're hearing all the spit and all that stuff, and I was popping a lot of peas here, my sock isn't working the way it should. You know, I had lunch with my friend David, who provided me with this microphone and this sock, because I wanted to talk to him. Because here's the thing. When I got this microphone, it was because I did a voiceover seminar with my friend David, David Lawrence the 17th. I know what you're thinking. How are the other 16 David Lawrences involved in this? Well, I can't speak to them, quite frankly. I can only talk to David Lawrence the 17th. And he stepped up a long time ago, and he had this online thing, and he said, hey, man, I'll come in. And I'll put this stuff on your computer, and I'll show you how to use it, and then I'll give you a microphone, and it's a really good deal. And I said, great. And then this microphone sat on a shelf forever, and I never fucking used it because I was going over to Lily Von Strupp's house and using her microphone and recording the show. But then, as we all know, that ad all got fouled up because she wound up moving from the house in Hollywood, the oldest building in Hollywood, moving to another place, and her microphone stopped working, and then the windscreen was there. Folks, this show's been all over the place. It's moved everywhere, and yet it remains consistent in that it always comes out every single week. How do you like that? I don't know if I'm good. I just know that I'm there. How about that? That's half the battle. From what I understand, half the battle's showing up. Well, I fucking show up. I'm here. You turn on your fucking iPod, guess what? Every Thursday morning, guess who shows up and says, howdy? It's me. Howdy. You know, that's a dude right there saying howdy. Or perhaps a tin horn. Because if I were to stumble into the Old West, see, that's the thing about time machines. And I don't know why that sentence just came out of my mouth. If you were to have a time machine, everybody's like, I'll go back and kill Hitler. You know, it's funny. I saw this thing that I wrote on Facebook a couple of years ago. And I've talked about this on this show many times. And you've all heard it. You know this thought. And I actually wrote, and I think I wrote it on Twitter in 2013. Hey, if you have a time machine, I'll be happy to go back in time and kill Hitler. As soon as I can get out of 1970. Oh, wait, no, hold on. I got to think of the better. I can't believe I fucking ruined that. Here's what it was. This is the phrasing. I blew my own fucking joke on my own podcast. God damn it. It was, if you have a time machine, sure, I'll go back and kill Hitler as soon as I stop fucking 1976 Stevie Nicks. As you all know, that's been a preference of mine for a long time. I have a list of things that I want to do if I were to travel back in time. Number one, going back to 1976 and railing the fuck out of coke addict Stevie Nicks. And that's the thing, that's what I'll bring, because I'll bring like a fucking mountain of coke with me. Make me a big-ass time machine. Not one of those fucking, I don't want a phone booth like that idiot in England has. Is that a time machine? Is a TARDIS a time machine? I don't even know. I've never watched Doctor Who. Like, I've stumbled into it. The most I've ever seen of Doctor Who, really, and this is truthful. I demand that you understand that this is truthful. Hold on, I'm fucking yawning. God damn it. The most I've ever watched Doctor Who is in Chicago. This is totally true. Some dude hacked into the local television broadcast and put up a video of himself at his house. And I know that sounds fucking ridiculous, right? And you think to yourself, how the fuck can somebody do that? Well, this guy pulled it off, and even better, they never caught the guy. And he never came out and admitted it. I have no idea why he wouldn't come out and say it. I got to figure the statute of limitations of getting fucking prosecuted for interrupting Doctor Who is definitely run out. Is that even a charge anymore in the books in Illinois? I think they overruled it. No longer can you be charged for interrupting Doctor Who. But I swear to God, it's totally true. If you look it up, look at like WTTW Channel 11 Doctor Who hack. I'll go ahead and say, go ahead and Google that. Maybe that'll work. Or Google Doctor Who interruption. By the way, I saw Doctor Who interruption at Coachella. Oh, they were so good. Doctor Who interruption is terrific. They opened up for Angry Daleks. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, Mike, you say you never watched Doctor Who, but now how do you know who the fucking Daleks are? Because I read, goddammit. I got the internet. My brain's a sponge and it sops in information. Just because I don't watch the show doesn't mean I don't know who the Daleks are. It's for the very same reason that I say I don't watch who Game of Thrones is, but I know what a dragon is. I know what a Cersei is. I know what a Jon Snow is. It's all seeped into my brain, into my consciousness. Because didn't Cersei rape a dragon? Or didn't Jon Snow have a walk of shame and everybody threw I was gonna say literally poo. And then I was gonna say shit, and then I said shist at the same time, so I said shist. You know what? That's actually the cool kids' short abbreviation for Schindler's List. You know, because the cool kids, that's when you text it. When you're like, hey man, did you get your copy of Shist? That's how you abbreviate Schindler's List. That's the cool kids, man, when they're all talking about their Holocaust movie. By the way, I was talking to somebody, he's like, hey man, name a movie you've never seen that's like, I'm like, I've never seen Schindler's List. I've never seen Shist either, quite frankly. You know, Schindler's List, Shist that's an unfortunate abbreviation for Schindler's List, because it could be Shist for Schindler's List, or it could be Shist for Shitfist. Which, by the way, that was the name of Schindler's List in Germany. If you went and saw it there, you know how they convert the titles? Schindler's List was Shitfist in Germany. I don't know if you've seen that. Actually, there's a lot of movies called Shitfist in Germany. I think there's actually a church called Shitfist, the Church of Shitfist in Germany. There's a restaurant certainly called Shitfist in Germany. Oh, it's delightful. All right, folks. So I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about. Oh, so you guys were real nice last week where you're like, hey, dude, don't fucking sweat it. But I will tell you this, again, because here's how my tiny brain works. People wrote me and they're like, dude, you're crazy. The sound is fine. But as you know, I don't want the sound to be fine. I want the sound to be great. I want the sound to be, I want to go Trump with it. I want the sound to be, it's the best sound you've ever heard. Many people are saying it is the greatest sound you've ever heard on a podcast. But again, this week, it's me talking into a fucking fishbowl and trying to be Darth Vader. But that's okay. There's nothing we can do about it. Because now, like I said, my friend Gio, superfan Gio, not superfan of me, but superfan of others, you know, I was trying to get him on board to help me fix the microphone and stuff like that. And literally, he's just like, dude, TSA broke your mic. There's nothing you can do about it. And then he was also speculating that because my laptop is an older laptop, that maybe that it's either A, not reading the microphone properly anymore, or the laptop's having problems. And I will tell you this, my laptop is doing this weird thing. And look, I don't know if it's because I have electricity in my hands. I might have electricity in my fingers. I may be a supervillain in the making at some point. But I'll be working on my laptop and all of a sudden it'll just stop. Like it'll totally freeze. And then I'll sit there and I'll wait, and it'll take about 15 seconds, and then all of the letters that I was typing out in the email or whatever, and now you're thinking to yourself, Mike, you answered an email? You're goddamn right I did. Or if I'm commenting under one of my many alt-right blog anonymous names, and I'm going ahead and writing things on there, when I'm writing reviews of Shist online, when I'm abbreviating Schindler's List and Shitfist as Shist, and letting people know that there's a difference between the two, it's weird. I got a ghost in the machine, folks, because I will be sitting there writing. Like I said, I'm typing. Clack, 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 clack. Listen. That's how I type. And I'll be doing that, and then all of a sudden, it'll stop typing. Or, you know, when I'm answering Facebook people know that. I answer people on Facebook a lot more than I answer people on email. Because I feel bad. Because it's, you know why? Or here's the fucking thing. And this is a trick, and I shouldn't even fucking tell you guys this, because then you're gonna do it. If you write me on Facebook, I'm more apt to answer you than I am on email. Because when I read your email, I can go, oh, all right, well, I can answer that soon. But if I read your thing on Facebook, you saw that I read it. So then I feel fucking awful that you saw that I read it and that I haven't answered it yet. So I think to myself, well, I can just write them something really quick or really fast. And then, of course, I'm me. So I have to be verbose, and I write something that's a little longer than quick and fast. And then the person, by the way, do you have people have lives? Do you have jobs? What do you have out there? Do you have anything that you can do where you're not constantly sitting in front of a keyboard waiting, poised for me to answer you so you can answer me back immediately and I have to write you back a second time? I mean, it's like we're having a conversation all of a sudden. Fuck that. I don't want to talk to anybody. That seems aggressive and strong. Of course, I want to talk to all of you, and I would like to talk to you in person. I'd love to shake your hand and look you right in the eye and buttonhole you and try to get your vote. Vote for me, Mike Schmidt, please. I'm running for city council. Because you know what? You got to start locally. You got to do it. That's what we do. We build a grassroots effort, and we start at base of the pyramid, and we start locally, and then we move up to find out, hey, we're powerless and we still can't do anything. Why, look at us. We're in charge. We're the ones running everything, and yet we still can't do anything because the money men are out there, folks. I don't know if you know this. I'm going to Alex Jones the shit out of this show right now. And the frogs are gay! The frickin' frogs are gay! Turn the frickin' frogs gay! Do you know how far back I am from the microphone right now? Turn the frickin' frogs gay! To do Alex Jones, I have to lean all the way back in my fucking office chair, and otherwise I would blow the fuck out of your ears. I think I probably already did. Did you see the clip of Alex Jones on the fucking street in Seattle? Dude, all right, look, first of all, let's talk about Alex Jones for just a second. Here's who Alex Jones is. Alex Jones is a comedian / performance artist pretending to be a political commentator. We all know that, correct? He's got this site called InfoWars. It's a bunch of fucking tinfoil hat bullshit. A lot of it's the Weekly World News come to life with a human bulldog hosting it. That's exactly what it is. It's this guy who fancies himself a fake tough guy, and he'll put pictures of himself with his shirt off and flexing, and because he's a big barrel-chested fucking dude, and then he admits in court the whole thing's a fucking sham. For years, he's been calling out Barack Obama. For years, he's chasing Democrats. For years, he's mad at everybody. And then his wife's like, well, fuck it, I'm taking my kids away from this crazy asshole. And he's like, no, man, I'm totally cool. I don't care about who's turning the frickin' frogs gay! Boy, I leaned back. Now, that time I leaned back. I didn't even face the fucking microphone. I don't know how loud that was, but I leaned back and yelled it at the ceiling. But Alex Jones is he's just a fucking monster, okay? He's just a guy who, as with most people now, will say a bunch of shit that's controversial or weird, and then a bunch of other crazy people will seize upon it, and they'll put it into the zeitgeist, and then it'll get traced back to Alex Jones, and he'll be like, well, I'm just asking questions. Well, I'm just hosting a show. I can't help these people if they take it and they run with it. And yet, you're just cashing fucking checks. Like just P.T. Barnum. There was a thing I did early in this show when I was talking about how I was bordering on cult leader by having a show like this. And I was trying to test the boundaries of that. And I'm like, look, if you're on a bus or whatever right now, just stand up and take your shirt off and fucking start yelling. Or just whatever. I was telling people to do shit. I was like, take off your shirt and just say something. Or just take off your fucking shirt and sit down. And I think 2 people did it, if I remember correctly. I don't, this is like a million years ago. Go listen to year 3 on YouTube. But it was out there. And so I thought to myself, well, if you can, get people to do things by telling them to do things, this is because I have, and this will sound dumb, all right? I have a modicum of power with this show. Very little, but there are people out there I could influence to do things that they probably wouldn't do otherwise. Like, I don't know, come back and listen to me all the fucking time. I have no idea. That's the only influence I have in this goddamn place. I don't even know how I fucking spun off. But Alex Jones is a dude, these idiots who they say a bunch of rude, mean shit, and then they go, oh no, we're just kidding, ha 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 ha. That's the death of this fucking world. Everything's over. John Cleese said a thing today, they were talking to John Cleese of Monty Python, and he was like, I don't see any hope for human society. They're like, nothing? He goes, no. They go, you don't see any redeeming value? He's like, nope. And people are just like, oh, that's terrible. What do you mean that's terrible? He's fucking right. It's true. It's a shame. I feel terrible for my godson. The only thing I'm really happy about with my godson and my niece are my godson's really good with knives. So he's going to be able to protect them after, like I said, the coming water wars when they're walking the street and just trying to stay alive. He's been taught hand-to-hand combat by David, and he's got plenty of knives to stay safe. And Ava's smart and quick on her feet, so the 2 of them will be able to stay alive. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is the 2 of them can meet my brother Glenn's 4 kids and my brother Lenny's 2 daughters, and then the 8 of them can form a new utopia, some sort of new society. Although that would require some sort of breeding, and now we're getting into a weird thing, and I don't even want to fucking think about it. All right, forget I even said all that. God damn it. All right, so, but these idiots, they just do this shit where they say a bunch of fucking mean, crazy, dumb shit, and then you call them on it, and they go, what? No, I'm just asking questions. I'm just whatever. But Alex Jones is just a fucking hump. That's all this dude is. I don't even know how I fucking spun off into this dude, but he's a fucking jagoff monster. Who and they're all like that. There's some, I saw some dude, he was like this, never mind. Alex Jones in Seattle. Did you see this? Alex Jones is on the street in Seattle. He's got a microphone and a camera crew, and he's accosting people in the street, asking them questions about Democrats and Hillary and about the society, and just basically being a nuisance, being a public nuisance, and running at people and ambushing them with a microphone. And people are telling him to fuck off, and he's just like, well, I'll show you, and he's yelling, and he just looks like the angriest thumb in the world, just swollen and red and bulging eyed and fucking flecks of spittle in the corners of his mouth. The kind of guy you would have normally had committed. The kind of guy who normally would act like that in a fucking drunk tank the morning after he woke up and didn't realize where he was or what was going on. Because he was sleeping it off, and then he woke up and he was so angry at himself, he realized the fucking situation he'd painted himself into, and then he would just fucking hurl impotent rage off the cinder blocks of the cell that he was sitting in as he was waiting to get bailed out by his harried, disappointed wife. But this motherfucker's running around the street and he's yelling at people. And then there's a clip where he runs up to a guy and he's like, hey, man, whatever. He's screaming at a dude and the guy kind of yells back. And it's this little troll-looking dude. And this dude throws coffee in Alex Jones's face. And Alex Jones is like, see, this is how liberals respond. They have to throw things in your face. The freaking frogs are gay! And then he pretends that it's blistering hot coffee. That's my favorite part too. He's like, you throw blistering hot coffee at me. This is how they do it. This is their fucking discourse or whatever. And then the troll dude who threw the coffee is like, hee, and he absconds into the distance. Like he throws a cape over his face. Like, once again, I have foiled you with caffeine. And he sprints off like an imp. And it's like, dude, I don't. And again, watch it. If you haven't seen it, find it. Just find Alex Jones coffee or whatever the fuck bullshit it is. And tell me it's not the fakest thing you've ever seen. People are like, oh no, it's totally real, and that guy totally stood his ground, and he threw fucking coffee in Alex Jones's face, and he's brave, and we know him, and he's my friend, and he's from Seattle, and he's the coolest. And I saw people on Facebook, they're championing him, and they're like, yay. And I'm just like, man, this whole fucking thing is wrestling. Can't you see it? I'm a dude who grew up with pro wrestling. I know it when I see it. And when you got a big fucking dude just running around, just yelling at people's faces, and then somebody throws a drink in his face, and he doesn't beat the fuck out of that guy, then you know it's fake. And then, of course, then they unearthed that the fucking the troll on the street in Seattle with the coffee, he's worked for like local pro wrestling things or some circus or something. I don't know. He's one of those guys that would like Orbit and Lily's Orbit. You know, one of those fucking. I told you there's sword swallowers and burlesque dudes, and then kind of comedians and plate spinners, and then guys like that, coffee throwers. I suppose he's a coffee juggler. See, I go that route. He wasn't really throwing coffee in Alex Jones's face. He was doing a coffee juggling trick that went awry. Alex Jones just got in the way of the hot beverage, the blistering hot beverage. Oh, the liberals. They threw blistering hot coffee in Alex Jones's face. Get the fuck out of here. You fucking human callus. You tumor with feet. Just fucking yelling at people and screaming and frothing at the mouth and turning red, talking about space colonies with fucking child predators on it. Dude, literally, they have a thing where celebrities have built a space colony where they take children up there and there's pedophiles up there. I guess, I don't know, teaching them school, having them mine the moon or whatever the fuck the colony is. I don't know. They mean it. And this is the thing. They don't really mean it. They're just P.T. Barnuming the shit out of stupid people and stealing all their fucking money. And it's happening. And it won't stop happening. It's ridiculous to watch. It unfolds. I mean, I try to do a comedy show where I'm at least appealing to some normal people. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here with a tin horn laptop and a dude fucking microphone. But these dudes, I see them and I think to myself, can I do that? Like, could I fool enough people to where I steal all the fucking money in the world and I get to do dumb shit like that? But how would you sleep? How does Alex Jones get up and take a shower? He takes a shower. He has to look himself in the face in the mirror. His thinning hair, his barrel chest. He thinks he's rough and tough. He's talking a good game. And then he's got to go in and sit in front of a microphone and just fucking yell for 2 hours. Now, look, I sit in front of a microphone and yell for 2 hours. But I don't know if there's that. So is there really that much of a degree of separation between me and that guy? But here's the thing. I choose to turn all of my fucking, my rage and stuff inward. So I look at me and I take myself to task for my failures and the things that I've done. And then it bursts out occasionally at places like fucking, a post office or a Trader Joe's bathroom or on a car in traffic or at the ballpark, which is something I'll tell you about soon enough here, or on a guy at my house who asks me not to sing the Foo Fighters at the top of my fucking lungs. But I've also changed a ton, man. It used to be fucking this kind of shit happened all the time. And now I find myself wondering, like, I've actually asked this question in therapy. I'm like, I got a question. Like, here's a problem, man. I'm kind of getting to be normal. I know that sounds weird, but at the age of 50 now, I just went, there's no reason to fight. There's no reason to be upset. And also, I've kind of given up hope. Not about me, not personal hope. Like, I hope to enjoy my life and have the best time that I possibly can while I'm here. I'd love to meet as many of you guys as I can. I'd love to have personal relationships that were meaningful. I would love to have good things happen. However, I don't hold any hope at all for the rest of this world or society. I'm just hoping to get out alive. I want to be the anti-Morrison. I want to 1 and 5, 5 and 1, and get out of here while having some fun. That's how I want to do it. Everyone here gets out and has fun. Instead of 5 and 1, 1 and 5, no one here gets out alive. I'm 1 and 5, 5 and 1. Everyone gets out of here and we're all having fun. How about that? We go reverse Morrison on this badass. because I just want to enjoy the time I have left. So I find myself standing down or not getting upset or trying not to get upset. And then I think to myself, is that hurting your show? Is that hurting the content of what you do? You know, as you kind of put yourself on a shelf a little bit and take yourself out of the equation, because I always seem, and I will tell you this too, I've always set myself up with stuff where I'm like, I actually talked to Shannon about this week, which is fucking crazy. Because I was relating the story to her. Well, fuck, I'll just tell you the story about what happened. I went to a ball game this week. I went to see the Dodgers, and I went to see they were playing the Colorado Rockies. Now, if you know anything about baseball this year, you know that the Los Angeles Dodgers are rampaging away with the National League West, and the Colorado Rockies are chasing them, but will never catch them for the division title. However, they can queer the deal on them by beating their head in a little bit and trying to make sure that they have something to worry about as they head into the playoffs, because at some point, the Dodgers may see the Rockies. If the Rockies can get past the Diamondbacks in the wild card game, how you doing? Let's talk about sports, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things on the base paths. I want to hear from you. Let's talk about Mets. Let's talk about Mets, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things in Citi Field. I'm making up songs about the Mets. I don't even like the fucking Mets, and yet they worked for the rhyme. I feel like Paul Simon now. Syllables, Mick. When Mickey Mantle came to him and said, dude, you love me. I'm your favorite guy. Paul Simon's like, yes, absolutely. And he's like, why DiMaggio in the song? And Paul Simon said, syllables, Mick. And then Mickey Mantle went, oh, that's depressing. And he chugged 4 cases of whiskey and then handed his liver to a friend. One of his livers. That guy went through multiple livers, didn't he? Didn't Mickey Mantle just, I mean, he had, by the time he was like 60, did he even make it to 60? By the time he was 50, his liver was the size of home plate. I mean, it was just a gigantic fucking thing. You could actually see it bursting through his fucking Oklahoma chest. But I'll tell you what, I've angered grandpas all over the world who'll tell you that Mickey Mantle was the best ball player they ever saw. Why? Because they don't want to acknowledge that Willie Mays was better. That's why, because they're racists. That's right. All of your grandfathers are racists. I'll tell you, the Mick, I love him. He was terrific out there in the outfield with the Yankees. He's the best I ever saw. Did you ever see Willie Mays? Who? I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, is that darky who played for the Giants? Yes, it is. The one who's a million times better than fucking Mickey Mantle, you humps. Step the fuck down and acknowledge Willie Mays' greatness. The frickin' frogs are gay! How do you not? How do you not acknowledge Willie Mays is better than fucking Mickey Mantle? Take this. How do you not acknowledge the fact that Hank Aaron is better than Mickey Mantle? I got this news for you, too. How do you not acknowledge the fact that Barry Bonds is better than fucking Mickey Mantle? Barry Bonds also better than Willie Mays. But you know what? Willie Mays is his godfather and is thrilled for the fact that Barry Bonds is better than him. He's like, I love it. I'm so happy. And by the way, this is all constituted under Let's Talk About Mets, because that's where Willie Mays finished his career. You're thinking to yourself, how did Mike get down to Barry Bonds against Mickey Mantle? Because we're talking about Mets, baby. We're talking about you and me, and possibly even Bud Harrelson. Maybe I'll talk about Ed Kranepool. Let's talk about Ed Kranepool for just a second. How about that? What if I did an entire fucking show on Ed Kranepool? Holy fuck. You know, yeah, I guarantee it. And you motherfuckers out there, you'd bitch at me too. If I did a whole show about Ed Kranepool, I would get 10,000 letters from you guys going, what about Biff Pocoroba? Just because you're like, hey, equal time for stupider names. And I get that. Oh, that's the name of the show, correct? Hold on, we got to write that down. Equal time for stupider names. Here's what I have to do when I have no producer. Equal time for stupider names. For stupider. I think stupider's not a word, but it's okay. You actually hear me writing it. How fucking pathetic is that? And let me throw this out to you fine folks who are listeners, who are people out there who are lovely. If you have a better way for me to fucking do that, to keep the name, like, because here's the other way, the only other way I could think of, rather than writing down the full fucking name, is to actually memorize the time code that it's at. And then I would go back and listen to that chunk and try to hear the name that fucking leaps out and actually hear me proclaiming that that's the name of the show. Didn't it used to be, what was it? Let me ask you this. All right, let's throw this out to you fine folks. Remember when it used to be just me talking, and then all of a sudden a name would emerge? As I hiccup now on the air? Jesus, what the fuck's happening with my digestive system? I think my fucking, hold on. My, what's that thing called? Epiglottis? I think that's having a symptom, a turnover, a tumor. It's not a tumor. So what the fuck are we talking about? Oh, yeah, so did you like it better when the name just arrived and I didn't have to tell you guys, hey, there's the name of the fucking show? Or do you find yourself looking at the name of the show and waiting, anticipating for that? I was going to do a 30th special song. Waiting, anticipating. We're rocking into the night, folks. That's what we're doing. Rocking into the night. Ooh, rocking. Frickin' frogs are gay. All right, so How's the name of the show not The Frickin' Frogs Are Gay? You know why? Because then someone would Google it and find it, think I was going to be fucking Alex Jones. They come on here and listen to this, and the next thing you know, someone would throw blistering hot coffee into my face. What were we talking about? We were talking about a ball game. Hey, why don't you take me out there? Take me out with the crowd. You know what? Buy me some peanuts, some Cracker Jack. You know, I got to be honest with you, folks. I don't care if I ever get back, because it's root for the Mets and Ed Kranepool, and fuck for the Braves and Biff Pocoroba. And also, I don't care about Mike Lum or the Giants unless it's Willie Mays. All right, hold on. We're sweaty. In our house, we had to mop our brow just then. So I went to a ball game the other day. On Saturday, I went to see the Dodgers. And I was accompanied by a friend of mine, a friend named Randy. She's lovely. And we wound up at the game. And this is my first, I will tell you, all right, so, fuck. You know, here's the thing. I don't want to do this, but it's my life. It's my life. I want to go Gwen Stefani on all of you guys. Or Real Life. I think it's Real Life, right? Who sings In My Life? It's my life. Guess you have all. All right, so that neighbor's going to come and knock and go, hi, could you stop with the fake Gwen Stefani? It's my life. Last week, folks, I had a date. And I know that seems weird to talk about. Let's put it this way. It's not weird because people have dates, but it's weird to talk about on this show. But it's my life, so I have to talk about what the fuck happened. And what happened was I had a date with our good friend Randy. And Randy, I will tell you about her. This is a weird thing, too. I don't want to get too descriptive and too much into it, because I'll tell you what, I made that mistake before, folks. I don't know if you're aware of that. I wound up talking and saying, hey, this and this and this and this, and everybody's like, wee. And then, there was a lot of stuff I wasn't talking about, and then a lot of things that I wish I had talked about, and then made a lot of mistakes on my own that I should have talked about. Whatever. It's just a whole thing. It's a whole circus. It was a circus. And I was using social media as a way to go, look, everything's great. Look, everything's fine. Everything is awesome. When in reality, perhaps it was not. But I also was trying to validate myself through social media in a way where I was like, hey, look, if someone like this could want me, aren't I worth something? Aren't I worth wanting? Aren't I worth loving? And that's all part of the bottomless pit that is me. So Randy and I, we've been talking for a while, and I will tell you who Randy is, because I'll tell you what, you want to meet cute? Do you know what that is, folks? If you ever look up the words, the term meet cute, it's a movie term or a sitcom term, and it's when people meet one another in a strange way, but all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they hit it off. Everything's fine. It's like if there were people and they were shopping. You know what? Here's a meet cute in Animal House, when Otter meets the dean's wife. And they both reach for the same cucumber, and then he gives her his spiel. Now, look, that's not really a meet cute because he planned it. He showed up with the intent of fucking whoever grabbed the cucumber. That was his whole deal. So this was not, I will tell you, there were no cucumbers when I met Randy. But again, you talk about a meet cute, and like I said, it's where if someone, like when Harry met Sally, when he has to drive her across the country and she winds up hating him, but then I'll tell you what, there's something about this lug that's kind of lovable, and the next thing you know, they're meeting on top of the Empire State Building and fucking, right? Didn't that happen in that movie? Or is that another Meg Ryan movie? No, I apologize. It's Meg Ryan watches somebody give a blowjob and she actually masturbates in a hallway. No, that was In the Cut. Is that movie, I think? And that's after she got her face all fucked up. Jesus Christ, Meg Ryan, what the hell? Meg Ryan, not only does she have plastic surgery, but I guess when you have plastic surgery, you ever tell you, like when you get your shoulder done, they're like, don't move your shoulder because bad things could fucking happen. I got to imagine the same thing happens when they do your face. They go in with a fucking scalpel and they chop your face up in your eyes, and they're like, all right, do not do anything to your face for a couple of days. Well, not only did Meg Ryan get that done, which altered her appearance, but then she walked out to her car, and there was a ghost, and she went, aha! And the already not set fucking plastic surgery then sort of set itself into this ghastly rictus that she was calling a face for a few years there. Faced? A face. A schist. She was calling it a schist. Ghastly rictus? Ghostly rictus? Ghastly. I say ghastly rictus. That sounds like isn't that Harry Potter? Is Harry Potter in the ghastly rictus? I don't know. I haven't watched the movies yet. They're still wrapped up. Hi, Liana. How are you? You're wonderful, and I will eventually watch all of those movies because that's what I do. I do things eventually. That's how I like to handle my business. I don't want to do things right away. Case in point, emails. Oh, and let's talk about that again real fast. Facebook. So like I said, if you write me on that, you'll wind up getting a message from me, and it'll be like, hi, eventually really quickly. But when I type, hear that? On my computer now, I'll type like a whole paragraph and it won't show up. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of, like all the words appear. And I don't know if that means my computer's too slow or too fast, or I can't figure it out. I don't know what's going on with my future. I don't know what's going on with my past. I don't know what's going on with my days of future past. I might have to call Beast. I might have to call Cyclops. I might have to call Colossus. I might have to call Rogue. I might have to call Storm. I might have to call Professor X. I might have to call all of the Inhumans. They're not the Inhumans. They're the X-Men. I just threw that in there to tweak a little comic fan I know who's out there right now. Who's like, he's talking about the X-Men, we! And then I say Inhumans, he's like, no! You calling the Inhumans the X-Men is turning the frickin' frog gay! All right. So, what are we talking about? Typing. Disco. Dentario. Ball game. All right, so, and Randy. And meet cutes. We were discussing meet cutes. Sorry, that scared the shit out of me. I'm talking here, and I'm the Audacity. I'm looking at the lines. And again, as we all know, again, fishbowl, microphone, old school, laptop, haunted, ghost. We covered it earlier in the show. Go listen to the beginning if you haven't already. And I don't honestly, I don't know who the fuck is jumping in right now. Who's coming in right now to this show and just leaping in here in the middle? Who jumps in starts a half hour in? I don't want to listen. It's not Marin's show where you can skip the first half hour and get right to the guest. No, I'm the guest. I'm the only dude. I'm in studio the whole fucking time. I'm not going to sell you any coffee for those 30 minutes, and then I'm going to get to the meat of the matter. No. I'm going to sell you coffee the entire fucking time. I spent an hour and a half selling you coffee, for fuck's sake, or an hour, or whatever the fuck, or 3 hours, or 4 hours sometimes. Did I ever have a show that went actually over 4 hours? I know I hit like 3 hours and like 50 minutes one time or something like that, but I don't know if I've ever done an official 4-hour show, because someone was asking me about that. A person in the car, because we were talking about podcasting. And always they're talking about podcasts, and this person said, well, the good thing is, you can do your own podcast, and you can do like a 5-minute podcast if you want. And I go, yeah, or a 4-hour podcast. And I could see them bug their eyes out of their head like fucking Large Marge in the backseat, like, what? Because I had already told them that I'm alone. So then when they hear it's a 4-hour podcast by myself, they're just like, that just sounds miserable. I mean, I can't imagine, like, anybody who doesn't know who I am and just goes, fuck, 4 hours with you? I don't even want to be in the car with you for 20 minutes. Why the fuck would I listen to you for 4 fucking hours? But it's happened. And then I have to convince them, hey, there are people who actually like listening to it, who actually don't mind it, who actually root for that kind of show. I mean, I'll hear from you people all the time if I put out a show that's like an hour, and they'll write me and they'll be like, hey, dude, what happened this week? Like, what's going on? Why couldn't it be longer? Why couldn't it be more? But that gets to the thing I'm about to tell you regarding the ball game and me and who I am as a guy, and confrontations and things like that. So I meet Randy. All right, how did I meet her? Like I said, there's a meet cute thing in which, all right, so fuck, I'll just tell you. When I moved to town in the early 90s, I apologize. Well, I did move here in the early 90s, but I also moved here in the late 90s. Like, I moved here in 1997 into California. And I moved here with my then wife, Karen, my ex-wife. And we were here, and, I've told the story many times where I got a job in a restaurant, and then I didn't want to do it, and I wound up going for extra work, and I wound up getting a job in a movie. And she was struggling to find work. She worked at Nordstrom's seasonally, and she met a lot of celebrities and hung out with them. And then I don't know if did I ever tell you this story about the fucking Marvel Mania? When I worked at Marvel Mania, I worked in the kitchen. I had to fucking tell you this story. I worked at Marvel Mania, this fucking restaurant. It was a Marvel restaurant. So it was like literally like Spider-Man mac and cheese and all that other bullshit. Hey, look, Captain America's got a hamburger. All right, sit the fuck down and shut up. You know what I mean? It was just a way to sell you cups. It was a way to sell you a spatula with fucking Hawkeye's face on it. Oh, this arrow will shoot this recipe directly into your heart. Shut the fuck up. But, they were capitalizing anything. It's before the movies made any money. You know what I mean? Before they were even thinking about having a Marvel universe of movies, they were having a Marvel universe of chicken wings. It was a big fucking... They were thinking really fucking small over there at Marvel. Stan Lee one day went to Fridays and went, I could fucking do this. I'll just throw Spider-Man's face on a goddamn Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity breakfast at IHOP and call it my own. And then they built a fucking restaurant, which was a pay-on to fucking, chain restaurants. Just served the same garbage you get everywhere else. Hey, Cajun Frosty Bites, sponsored by the Rhino. Just fuck, what are you doing? Just go make movies. Find somebody. Find Kevin Feige or Feig or whatever the fuck his name is. Feig, Feig, Fog, Fum. Just get your fucking fingers and your thumb off of my goddamn plate of chicken wings. I don't need to clean up my salad and then look down and see Mysterio. It's just not anything that I envisioned ever growing up. Oh, Christ, it would be so fantastic if there was one day I could have a milkshake with Thor on the glass. Nobody cares. But that's how small Marvel was thinking in the old days. And then even worse, they hired me to fuck the whole thing up, which seems strange. I was just a small component of the kitchen team, but you knew I was going to fuck it up somehow if I hung around there. But then I worked in the kitchen at Marvel Mania, And I worked with a bunch of Hispanic dudes who all knew the language that I did not know, and that would be Spanish. That's the language of all kitchens all over the place now, folks, because that's who does these jobs. These are Hispanic gentlemen. They're, like I said, from other, Dominicans and a lot of Colombians and a lot of Ecuadorians. They come here, and it's an easy job to get for them because they work their fucking balls off, and they're good at it. And they're willing to put in the time and they're willing to put in the hours. That's the deal. Other people like, if you want to be a chef, like an American type guy who wants to be a chef, he's not going to fucking commit himself to that kind of thing. Usually they'll want to go to the CIA and then they want to come right out and own their own fucking restaurant because it's America. We think everything should be handed to us on a silver tray, paid for by somebody else. But these people come to town and they work their balls off and they make as much money as they possibly can and they sweat and they work and they make it happen. So I'm down in the kitchen with these dudes. And again, everybody was very nice to me. It's just, I just didn't know what the fuck they were saying because let's put it this way. I didn't hear chinga tu madre and I didn't hear gordito. So I was fine. I knew I wasn't fat and they didn't want to fuck my mom. So everything seemed to be okay with those guys. It was funny to make the Hispanic guys say vinaigrette every once in a while. Oh, do you go to get the vinaigrette? What? I'm sorry, do you go to get the vinaigrette? The vinaigrette? Yes. Oh, okay. I know where the vinaigrette is. I spilled a whole container of vinaigrette there once. Oh, you want to talk about a worse economic disaster? Yeah, I'll tell you what, Hurricane Irma, turn around and go back to the fucking Barbados Islands or whatever the fuck, because you have never had to deal with a fucking puddle of vinegar and oil on the goddamn ground. No mop cleans it. I think right now, because Maromania is gone, I think they turned it into the Waterworld attraction. Still, if you go to the Waterworld show, occasionally the leading man will step and slip. He's slipping on the vinaigrette I spilled in 1997. I'm not even joking. 1998, whatever the fuck it was, there is still a slippery floor from vinaigrette somewhere in the Universal Studios because I spilled like a fucking 6-gallon container of vinaigrette. And it just oozed out like the fucking blob. And the Hispanic dudes are laughing at me. Then you got to clean it up. And there's no cleaning up. It's too slick. So you're using a squeegee and you're trying to squeegee it all up. And then you got to scoop it up. And there's no sponge or rag that soaks up vinaigrette. Because when oil and vinegar get together, they form a polymer that cannot be soaked up by any sort of sponge or any sort of, it just becomes almost like a solid, but a liquid. It's just fucking horrifying. It's you know what it's like? It's like tangy herb-filled cum. I mean, because it's just, you ever tried, because look, we've all done that. You wound up having cum all over your chest or your thigh or somewhere. And then you go to wipe it off. And if you don't take a shower, if you're just wiping it off with like a sock or a towel or a nightgown, then, or I can go in any other fucking things, or somebody's hair. If you're using somebody's hair to wipe up cum, it just kind of, it turns into stuff. You know what I mean? It's almost like, like rubber cement. If you put rubber cement in a goddamn piece of paper. When you were a kid, if you made like little rubber cement things, rolled them up. Kid, like when you were fucking 6 and you took rubber cement and you rolled it, you're like, ha, look, boogers. And you like put it on your nose or whatever the fuck. Well, cum is kind of like the same ideal type of thing or properties. It's just, more bleachy. And so if you wind up taking somebody's hair and go to wipe it up, it just turns into a huge mess. And so that's what I wound up having to do. I took a mop, which is essentially somebody's hair, and I tried to clean up the vinaigrette. And fuck it, all I did was just push vinaigrette all over the goddamn kitchen. I took a mess that was pretty much squared away in one room, and I made it a 4-room mess. I just shined up the goddamn floor with vinaigrette, and everybody just slipping and sliding and fall over. I made I made a delicious ice rink. That's what I did. I made an ice rink that you could put all over a salad and enjoy for the next fucking 5 days. Don't ever spill vinaigrette, I guess is my point to you. Anything, it's salad dressing, you spill it on the countertop, you go to wipe it and just kind of, it rolls around like mercury. It's like it balls up and you're trying to chase it, and eventually you got balls of Italian dressing hiding under your microwave, plotting your demise, and then it comes back together into some sort of Italian dressing monster, and it lumbers into the room. The only way you can know that it's coming is you smell that slight whiff of oregano and that acrid smell of vinegar, and you're like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. A vinaigrette monster's coming to strangle me to fuck to death. There's an Italian dressing. There's the wishbone creature. He's on his way to get me. I'd better go hide at the Hidden Valley Ranch. Do they even make? I don't think they make anything oil-based. They make a creamy dairy ranch. And I say that with complete contempt for any other ranch dressing. Fuck you, Kraft. Who the fuck do you think you are putting oil in your ranch dressing? Is it cheaper? Is it better? It's neither of those things. Well, maybe it might be cheaper. I don't know anything about making ranch dressing at the corporate level. I only know about making it at the personal level. I've never actually made the leap to go ahead and make a ranch dressing at a corporate level. But Kraft, you're cutting corners and you're making mistakes. And sure, people are buying you just because of your name. People love your Kraft dinner in Canada, or your Kraft macaroni and cheese dinner here in America, or they like your Kraft cheese slices, your American cheese slices, because that's the best cheese to put on a hamburger. It's funny, I used to dispute that fact. I used to fight with people all the time. People are like, well, it seems like an overstatement. It's not like I'm telling people I'm not that fat. I'm having cheese arguments. Oh, no. You take that back, man. Fuck you and your cheddar. American cheese is the way to go. Turn it back at Frog Day! There's no way I was having cheese arguments. But if I were to have a cheese argument of any kind or some sort of substance, it would be that American cheese is the best cheese to melt on a hamburger. I wish it was not, but it is true. I like a cheddar burger. I like a Swiss on a burger. I probably could have a Gruyere on a burger. I might like a Brie on a burger. Nah, I wouldn't. Brie's too. I've seen them, like guys make fancy burgers with Brie on it, and it's still, because Brie never really melts. Brie just turns sad. And I mean that like because it just makes a frown. Like it just gets soft and bends, so it turns into a frown. Turn that Brie frown upside down and make it a smiley Brie. Not like Brie Larson. We had her here. Oh my God, was that her name? Brie Larson? She was the fucking news lady who had just fucking flippers. Creepy. And then she was married to Steve Kometko and giving fucking lobster hand jobs. Good Christ. Or no, not Kometko. Kometko's gay. She was married to Jim Lampley. Same guy. Google Jim Lampley and Steve Kometko right now and tell me they're not the same fucking dude. Except one likes cock and one likes lobsters. All right, so where were we? Somewhere. Mopping up vinaigrette, getting attacked by a monster made out of Italian dressing. Jesus Christ, what a mess this show's become. It's almost as messy as the floor in Universal Studios. I guarantee you now, seriously, if you go to Simpsons Land, there will be the guy dressed as a big Homer. Eventually he'll slip and fall and he'll break his yellow neck, and it's because there's still a slick patch from the vinaigrette I spilled in 1998. Because I pushed it around with a mop. That's actually how I got home that night. I didn't even take my car. I just kept mopping and mopping, spreading it out. It's almost like when you try to spread like butter on toast and you want to make sure you cover every surface inch of the goddamn toast. Don't bring me an unbuttered toast. I don't want one scintilla of that toast unbuttered. Get it right to the corners of the crust. That's the whole point. I mean, I like toast, and I don't mind a dry toast occasionally if you're going to dump it into an egg yolk, but I prefer a buttery toast. And when I say buttery toast, I mean I don't want toast. I want a sponge filled with butter. A wheat sponge. Make me a rye sponge and fill it with butter. So when I bite it, butter shoots into my face like I'm in some goddamn dairy-based porno. That's what I must have. I like as if I want butter. I want to bite into a buttery toast and it squirts me in the eye like I was getting bukkakeed by the Land O'Lakes girl. That's what I want. I want it like I went down on the Land O'Lakes Indian chick and she fucking just squirted in my fucking face. That's what I want my toast to be like. She's just, and you know what? She's still in the Indian style. She's sitting down Indian style. I just tipped her back. Her legs are still crossed, and I just went face first right in there. Boom, boom, boom. And I took care of everything. I took care of business, and I went to goddamn work. And the next thing you know, I got fucking butter squirt right in my eyes. That's what I want in my toast. I want it like the Land O'Lakes chick just fucking unloaded all over my face. All right, hi. And then take a mop and mop my face up, if you will. But try mopping butter. Just as tough as vinaigrette. Never spill a container of melted butter. Oh, and certainly don't spill clarified butter. Because then you got to deal with the milk solids at the bottom, and then you got to scrape those up in addition to mopping up the other butter. I'll tell you what, and also don't just spill milk, period. I'll tell you what, I would rather spill vinaigrette and butter and have them meet together in some unholy vinaigrette butter terror monster puddle, and I'll just leave it there forever. But if you spill milk in your house, like on the rug, move. Just fucking move. Pack your shit and go. Your house is it's not inhabitable anymore. Your house is completely uninhabitable if you spill milk on the rug. You're fucking finished. Because you never get the milk out. I don't care if you spill it and then wipe it up in seconds, the milk still gets through and it gets through the lining, and then for the rest of your life in that domicile, you'll be going, what stinks in here? What stinks in here? What stinks in here? Oh yeah, I spilled milk in here in 1971. Jesus fucking God. You know, I'll tell you what, if John Wayne Gacy would have wanted to get away with everything, he should have just spilled milk in his fucking house. Because the cops would have come in and been like, hey, you killed 32 dudes possibly. Wait a minute, holy fuck. What's that smell? That's not death. That's just fucking spilt half and half. Let's get the fuck out of here. And the cops would have packed into their van and bailed, and Gacy would still be killing people to this day. Gacy would still be just clowning it up and tying up construction workers, and I don't know how you fall for that bullshit. Hey, the 50-year-old guy who hired me for work wants me to come over and practice some magic tricks with him. Hey, you want to tie me up to a chair? Sounds like a good plan. I don't know how many beers you got to have to where that sounds like a good idea. So this big, burly fucking black and blue dude who, with the short hair and the fucking whiskey breath wants to tie me to a chair. And also, he seemed a little handsy at the work site. But you know what? I'm going to trust him at this point. Hey, you want to put handcuffs on me? That seems natural at 2 a.m. at your fucking house after a couple of beers. Holy Jesus. I don't know how you stumble into those fucking situations. You got to stay hyper aware. I've stumbled into some dumb situations, certainly. I mean, one time I was leaving a party when I was a kid, and I had to get home because I had snuck out of my house. Did I tell the story in here? I might have. I kept climbing out of the window well in my fucking house. I would pretend, look, if your teenage boy is going to bed at like 9:30 or 10 and he's like, you know what, Mom, I'm so beat. And then he goes downstairs to his room that you've never visited. He's not there. I guarantee you if you go down there at midnight, he's gone. He climbed out the fucking window, man. There's no way he's going to be in the bedroom because he went down there early so he could get to the party just with enough time. So that happened to me, man. I went downstairs and then I snuck out my window well, which, believe me, for fat me was a fucking issue. I had to climb up and just fucking snake charm my way out of the goddamn window well. You got to bend your body like a fucking question mark, but I did it. That's what it means when you go to a party, for fuck's sake. You're like, God damn it, I got to go. I got to go. And then I climbed and I moved and I shimmied and I shook. And I got to this party. Was it Greg Geppert's birthday party? Might have been. I don't remember what it was. But we were at this party, and there was a huge backyard, too, in the backyard. And I went, and we were hanging out, and my friends were there. And I started, and for some reason, there was a girl. I'm not going to say her fucking name, okay? I can't because that would be a thing. But it was in high school. Like, I didn't get a lot of female attention. You know, I dated Cindy Pizarzik. I dated Mary Ferguson. I went out with Shauna Johnston for a while. I'm going to give all these last names like a fucking idiot. I got to stop this shit. I'm 50. What are they going to do? Throw me in fucking memory jail? But I will not say this because I don't want to out people that I saw do this. But I was at a party, man, and I might have, and again, if I told this fucking story, yell at me, all right? But then again, some of you are like, Jesus Christ, just stop talking about spilling milk into a fucking rug. Because, and look, I'm not wrong about the Gacy thing, honestly. If you go to your boss's house, you have some beers, and at 2 a.m, he's like, hey man, what if I tied you guys up with some really heavy rope, and you let him do it? You kind of deserve a lime bath. I mean, I got to be honest with you. That maybe, and I know, look, I don't want to be victim blaming here, but if you're a dude and you're not on high alert at all times for this big burly fucking dude who's got a bunch of clown artwork on the wall, and he decides that he wants to handcuff you to a chair at 3 a.m. after you've been drinking all night, that's on you, man. That's got to set off some fucking alarm bells. That's got to make you think, you know what? I don't like crawl spaces. I'm going to get the fuck out of here, probably. Hey, boss, it was great seeing you. But you know what? Do me a favor. Put away your clown outfit. Put away your sunglasses. Put away your at 3 a.m. and put away your fucking handcuffs, because I don't want a future version of me being talked to in a movie by a future version of you played by Brian Dennehy. I would like to avoid that fate if at all possible. I'm going to go ahead and drift out. I don't give a fuck if you got to go sleep in the yard or you got to walk home. Whatever the fuck you got to do with yourself. If you're fucking 280-pound boss who entertains at children's parties on the weekend and is a little fucking gropey at the work site, decides to throw you in some handcuffs at 3 a.m. after force feeding you 15 bottles of wine, then maybe you think twice about letting him tie you up. That's what I say. You walk away. I'm at a party, right? So I get out of this house and I go to this party. I talk about doing dumb things. I guess I shouldn't be telling people not to do dumb things because I do dumb things, have done dumb things. Wound up at a party. Like I said, snuck out of my house. I got picked up by my buddy. I think it was Jeff, and I snuck out and we rolled to this party. So we go to this big fucking, it was an outdoor thing. It was summer, but I was grounded for some fucking reason. I did some dumb shit. And at this party, this girl's showing attention to me. And now we had a class together, and she liked sitting with me, and she thought I was funny, and she would smile at me. And I never got any of that stuff. Like, I never got any hints. I didn't know anything about hinting. I didn't know. Again, especially because I was fucking 16. I mean, I don't fucking know anything. 15, 16, 84. Because this is a summer. This is like almost summer of 84, like before senior year. It was before. No, bullshit. It was after 84. It was before everybody went to fucking college. So it was the summer. And God, I was grounded at 16. What a fucking pathetic idiot. I'm out of high school already. Well, I wasn't really. My class was out of high school, but my mom still grounded me. What the fuck? So this girl is paying attention to me, and I liked her, but I mean, I didn't know what the fuck. This will tell you. All right, this should tell you exactly how either A, smitten she was with me, or B, confused she was by her feelings and had to lie to try to justify them. All right. She told me that I looked like the guy Madonna was dating in the Borderline video, which is, I mean, ab-fucking-surd. That dude looks like Mex. Honestly, like, he looks like if somebody shot Mex with a pretty upray. You know what I mean? Like, Mex puts, it's funny, Mex has a fucking headshot he did of himself where he like completely filtered the shit out of himself, and he took all trace of wrinkles and fucking anything else out of his face. He didn't have any wrinkles, but I mean, he just younged himself up. He made himself shiny is what he did. It looks like he took a fucking, one of those cloths that comes with your glasses or your computer where you're supposed to clean the screen with it, and he looks like he washed his face with it for a month. I mean, he's just all shiny and bright. But this dude in the video, that's what he looked like. He looked like if David had a version of that himself like that when he was younger. But for some reason, and again, like I said, either this girl was trying to justify why she felt this way about the kind of the big fat dude in school. I wasn't big and fat, but you know what I mean. I was charming and still fun, but at the same time, I wasn't your ideal fucking, hey, let's go with that guy. You know, there are a lot more good-looking fellas in school. But for some reason, she thought I was funny. And again, sitting next to me in class for a semester probably did it because I was funny and charming. I mean, I didn't do any homework, and I certainly probably failed that fucking class. But she liked me. I don't know why. But when, you know, she told me at one point, it blurted it out. She's like, that Borderline video came out. She goes, you look like that guy. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, you look like the, you know, like the guy in that video, which was the guy that Madonna. Well, and then in my head, I'm thinking, is there some guy I don't know? Like I could see her seeing the Papa Don't Preach video years later and going, you look like that guy in that video, like Danny Aiello. All right, I guess that makes sense. That's the only guy I've ever resembled ever in a Madonna video. When you look at all of them, the only person I've ever resembled in a Madonna video is fucking Danny Aiello in Papa Don't Preach. But she thought, I know she thought it, but she may have been trying to convince herself of the fact that I looked like the guy from Madonna's Borderline video. So she told me that, and then I, of course, thought, well, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh, shucks. You know, what the fuck do you do with that information? You know what I do now? Of course, I throw up on the desk and I bury my face between her thighs. That's what I do immediately. Because look, I'm not graduating anyway. Let's fucking go out with a bang, right? Let's do that. Let's give them something to remember me by. If I'm not going to make it, if I'm not going to get fucking passed or not going to give me a diploma anyway, I'm going to do my best to just get, I'm going to go Land O'Lakes right on this fucking chick right here on the desk. Boom, boom. A foot on each shoulder, and here's my fucking final. I'll take my final right here. Here's my passing grade, motherfuckers. Here's what I'm doing. Here's all the homework I'm going to need. And you know what? I'm not going to need to do it at home because I'm going to do it right here on the goddamn desk. Oh, what's my assignment? Right here. I can finish this. Believe me. And I'll finish it in half the fucking time you think I will. All right. So, and then get the mop and I dare you to try to mop up that because it's never happening. And that classroom for the rest of the days will smell like Mike Schmidt completing his final assignment with his face between this girl's thighs. They'll bronze that desk. They're gonna put that desk in a hallway somewhere, like in the trophy cabinet with the football team's wins and King Mueller's fucking wrestling trophies. Just put the desk in there where Mike Schmidt went down on this fucking girl and gave her first high school orgasm in front of everybody. It'll be just like when I won the eating contest and everybody chanted my fucking name at the Spirit Stick Assembly. I just buried my face in the ice cream and hoovered it up. I'll just bury my face between this girl's thighs and go to work. Oh yeah. All right. I should do it in the English department so we can go A, B, C, D, E, F, G spot. Look at me. Just doing it with the fingers and the come forward motion. All right, how you doing? Anyway, so I'm talking about things I shouldn't, but I'm at a party. The frickin' frogs are gay! I'm at this party, and I'm there with this girl who had all semester long, she developed this crush over me and wanting me and thinking about me and thinking I was, a guy and I'm the borderline guy. I'm that dude. And when we got along and I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to pull the trigger. I didn't know how to hit at anybody. Like I said, I had like 4 girlfriends. It was either a case of trying with Cindy where I was too fast and she broke up with me because my hands were under her shirt, or it was a case of me basically eating Shauna Johnston alive and mailing her bones back to her family and getting in trouble and having my mom go, why is your neck black? This is all on YouTube. Folks, go find these old shows. That was old gold. Now you got me just shouting in a goddamn apartment about frogs and gay and Alex Jones and blistering coffee here on this episode that is called Equal Time for Stupider Names. All right, so I had to peek at the cheat sheet there. The cheat sheet? The cheap sheet? No, the cheat sheet. I really couldn't remember. Right then, I really couldn't remember the goddamn name. Holy fuck. All right. So this girl wanted me, and I don't know what that means. Again, I'm 16, and I got no car, and I got no job, and I got no game whatsoever with ladies. So we go to this party, and then she comes up to me, and she's like, hi, and we're at the keg, and she gets a beer, and she's kind of following me around, and I'm talking to her, and then there's other guys that are kind of following us around, and we're all in a group, and we're all in a circle, and it's a lot of guys I grew up with, and then we're talking, and there's one dude who keeps coming up and talking to us, kind of talking to her. And I liked him. He was a friend of mine, but he wasn't in my crew. Like he was one of those superfluous guys. Like we had our crew, which was the UN of Evil. And then there was other people just kind of floating around it. They had their own crew. Like Tony Melenda he was our hero and he had the fucking, the disciples. So he had all those people. And I think this guy would be in that crew, maybe. I don't know. He was just, there were dudes who just kind of belonged in my knowledge. I mean, they had their own crew. Certainly they'll tell you as they grew up, but this dude to me, he was just kind of a free agent. And he was in a bunch of crews, I suppose. But he floated around, and he was a guy who'd show up at parties, and you liked him. I liked him. I never had a problem with it at all. It's so funny. he had one thing that he's known for that I can't even talk about. And I shouldn't even tell you that because I can't tell you about it, because if I tell you about it, it gives away who he is to some people who might be listening. All right, so never mind. So stupid. Hey, here's something I can't tell you. Here's another thing I can't tell you, fucking idiot. Let's cut. Let's fucking just forget it. Let's just talk more about mopping up dressings. So this dude is falling around, and he's kind of talking to us, and she's talking to him too. And she's talking to me, and she's talking to, but it's just a party, man. But the thing is, she's standing close to me, and I got her a beer, and all the things, because I don't know how to hit on anybody. I have no idea what to do to close the deal. So I don't make a move. Like, I have no idea how to make a move. So the party goes on. I wind up in another room, and everything's going on. And all of a sudden I realize she's gone. I don't know where she is. And I'm thinking to myself, where could she possibly be? So as I'm talking to my friends and it's getting later, I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens here. It's a party. We're having fun. And, you don't think I'm hanging around with my friends and we're all joking around. Eventually they're leaving for college. We're having a good time. And then there's other people, and you're trying to avoid upperclassmen, and you're trying to avoid underclassmen and whatever the fuck. It's a high school party. So you're trying to navigate yourself through the pitfalls of a high school party. But have a good time at the same time. But also I'm wondering where this girl was, because I may not be able to hit on her. I may not know how that works or what it entails. But I also think that if I hang around in her general vicinity, maybe something will happen. You know what I mean? That kind of high school thing. Well, maybe if I stand next to her, eventually we'll kiss. That fucking stupid thing, because you don't have any game. You don't know how to do it. You don't know how to fucking take it to the next level, where you just kind of reach in behind her ear and you kind of look in her eyes and see if it's anything there. And if it's not there, you just fucking get the handcuffs out and put your clown suit on. Hey, it looks like she's attracted to me. Oh, she's not? Well, here, why don't you drink this blackberry cider, and then I'll just show you a magic trick. That'll be fantastic. By the way, do you like basements? So she disappears, and I don't know what's happening. And finally, around like midnight or 12:30, I go out in the yard, and there's people in the yard. And like I said, it's a big yard. And then there's some trees. There's a clump of trees. There's bushes, all this stuff. And, it turns out I see like people around over there, but I don't see anybody really. And I go walking over, and I go into this clump of trees. I don't even know why. It was just because I was walking, exploring the grounds, because it's that thing, you're at a party, everything's outside, and people are having fun and they're drinking, but then you kind of drift off. And I walk into this clump of trees, and I take about 6 steps in, like 1, 2, 3, and I get in there, and I see shadows, like moving. And I don't know what they're doing. I can't tell, but I see that there's something low on the ground. And again, I'm outside. I'm in a clump of fucking trees. It could be a raccoon. It could be a monster. I got no fucking clue what it is, but it's something. And they're kind of wriggling and writhing, and I kind of look back, and then I see that my eyes kind of clear out, and I see it's a guy, because I see the moon shine off of glasses, and I see where his head is located, and I realize he's laying down, like on his back. And then I see the other person moving, and I kind of see there's constant motion, okay, but he's on his back. But she's not tall enough to be sitting on his lap, or at least I don't think it's a she. And then all of a sudden, again, in the moonlight, I see the moonlight shine off of his glasses, and then I see her go, and she sits up, and his cock falls out of her mouth. And I know it because this, and again, enjoy this, it shined in the moonlight from the spit. I saw his cock head shine in the moonlight because I saw her when she sat up. I actually saw the moon catch his cock as it fell out, and it looked up. And it was the girl who thought I looked like the guy from the Madonna video, and the guy who was my friend who was not part of any other cruise. And apparently, he was much better at closing the deal than I was, because he's out in a clump of trees getting head from a girl who thought that I was the borderline guy. Now, here I will tell you this. This is the only hope I've clung to over these last 34 years. Perhaps, just knowing that she thought I looked like the guy from the Borderline video, perhaps her eyesight was so bad. Perhaps she thought that it was me she was blowing out in that clump of trees. I don't know. That's my hope. I cling to it in case I ever run into her again. But he's laying back, because then your eyes adjust, and the moonlight hits his eyes, the glasses, and then I see his cock, and I see her sit up, and I actually saw a spit trail from her mouth, which is so good for you. I mean, you're doing a good job. But when she sat up, it was like, and she just like kind of swallowed, she's like, and she goes, oh my God. And I just turned around and I bailed. Now it's funny. Now me thinks, because we were far enough away from the party and she kind of dug me anyway, like, would there have been an opportunity if I would have just flopped it out? So I would have just fucking whipped out my cock. Does she just go and work on both of us? Probably not from the, oh my God. She was so freaked out to be discovered in the first place. But who knows? I'll tell you what. It's another thing to put on the list for that time machine, I'll tell you that. I got to kill Hitler. That just got bumped to third. Holy shit, 76 Stevie Nicks. You might have a new contender for the top spot. Do I get double blowjob from the girl who thought I was the borderline guy? Who knows, man? Who knows? But I actually kind of hustled right out of there because I knew enough. It wasn't like I was hurt or sad. I was more stunned and shocked. And then the stunned and sad, the hurt and sad comes later because you say to yourself, that could have been me. That could have been me, you stupid idiot. If you would have fucking played your cards right, you would have made your move. That could have been you. Of course, you say all that shit to yourself a couple days later. But right now, I just want to get the fuck out of this clump of trees. So I fucking bail. I go back to the party, and the party's thinning out, man. It gets to be 1 a.m, and my friends are gone. My friends are leaving because again, I was outside for a long time looking through a clump of trees and fucking walking, and now it's 2 a.m, man, and I gotta get fucking home because I snuck out of my house. And it's one of those things where the party is thinning out. There's not a lot of people left, but there are some people left, and there were these upperclassmen dudes that were left, and there were people that I didn't even fucking know. I mean, because again, Greg Geppert's an old dude. I think it had to be his party, and so I didn't know any of these fucking guys. So. But now I'm desperate because I'm all the way across town and I got to get back to my fucking house. So people are leaving and I'm outside. I'm like, hey, can I get a ride? Hey, can I get a ride? And finally these 2 dudes who are, I mean, they're polluted drunk. Okay. They're not drunk like, well, we had a couple, but yeah, go ahead and hop in. They're just like, sure, come on. They're that fucking drunk, like weird, drooling drunk, and not the good fun drooling like the clump of trees blowjob, but I mean these guys are letting it go, and I go, great man, I need a ride, thank you. And they're like, where do you live? And I lived up on in Valley. Well, that's funny. Never mind, that's where I live now. It was called Winston Woods. This area called Winston Woods, and I lived on. I used to live at 211 Monroe, but now I live at 209 Walker Drive. So and they're like, all right, just tell us, we'll get there, wherever, and it's, it would have been a straight shot from where we were if you would have just shot up fucking Briarcliff. You don't give a fuck about the directions of my old house. But these dudes, I get in the car and I'm in the back seat, because again, I'm the hump. And they drive and I go, okay, you go up here and you take a left. Out of the fucking driveway, they drive through a fucking clump of hedges. Just like, not a big clump, but just like over, those hedges that are real close to the ground? They just fucking rampage it. And they just start laughing. And I realize I am fucking doomed. And what happens for the next, and now, by the way, I should have been home. It could have been like a 10-minute ride. It took 25 minutes. And it was the 25 most harrowing minutes of my life up to that point, probably other than my father's funeral, for fuck's sake. These dudes were so drunk, they couldn't drive straight for more than 30 seconds. And then they drift off, and I didn't know if the dude was sleeping or what, but they were laughing, and it's that thing where one dude's playing with the radio and turning it up, and he's lighting a cigarette at the same time, and then the other dude's like, no, play this song, and he's driving, he reaches down to change the fucking radio, and the whole wheel shifts, and I'm like, come on, dude! And I'm yelling, and they're laughing. They think it's hysterical that they can't stay on the fucking road. They hit the curb. They fucking drive. They run red lights. They run stop signs. I mean, I'm just going, man, I'm gonna fucking die. It was one of the times where I actually was faced with what I thought would be my mortality. I thought I was fucking finished, man. I thought I was gonna die. And they're driving. And I'm like, all right, turn left here. And when I say turn left here, I mean turn left onto the next street because you see a stoplight. They immediately turned left. Because again, it's fucking 2:30 in the morning, so there's nobody else out. But I go turn left here, right? We're coming up, there's an island, there's a fucking median. But we got to just go up to the next light. So I just figured turn left here. They just fucking bitch left. They turn left and run over the median. So the car's up on the fucking median, and finally he guns it and gets off of it. He's facing oncoming traffic, but there's no oncoming traffic. He pulls over. I'm like, go to the fucking light. The light, man. Fucking go to the light and turn left. So he goes to the light. He turns left. And I'm like, I go, let me go. It's fine. You can just let me out. He's like, no, you said Walker. They look for Walker. They're looking at every street sign. I'm like, dudes, and I can't get out because it's a 2-door. So they have to open the door to let me out. I'm trapped in the back fucking seat. Finally, they find Walker, which it was so funny. It was one of the first fucking streets, but they drove past it. I go, dudes, that's it back there. That's it. We got to see a street sign. Fuck you. That's it back there. Go back. So they drove all the way down, and now they're by Monroe, which is fucking 6 blocks away from where I live. It's the first place I lived. I go, turn around. You got to turn around. Okay. And they fucking turn on to fucking Monroe, and they're just barely missing people's yards. And they get back out to fucking Boughton, and they come back around, and it's just a mess. I go, all right, go to the light. Stop. Turn right. I have to give them every single direction in singular. And they turn. I go, Walker is your first right. It's right. It's coming up right here. Turn right on Walker. So they stop the car and they look up and they go, yeah, Walker. And then they turn right. And I lived in townhouses, so all of our houses were connected, and the driveways were connected too. And I was like, all right, it's this house right here. It's like 4 houses up on the right. They just turned onto Walker, and then they turned into the yards. They didn't even look, and the yards are really small, because again, townhouses, and they just drove over the yards and the driveways, missing, thankfully, the light posts that were in people's yards, and they park on an angle across a yard and 2 driveways to get me to my house, like my driveway. And again, I'm sneaking into my fucking house. Okay, I don't need any sort of fucking rigmarole. I don't need anybody to get unearthed. I don't need my mom to fucking hear it and come out here with a goddamn shotgun and kill everybody. Although honestly, at this point, I'm fucking rooting for their death. I should have yelled, Ma, come on, take these motherfuckers out, because they deserved it. Just fucking kill them. I'll keep the car. Let's fucking make it happen. Then teach me how to drive, because I don't know how to fucking drive. Anyway, they finally stop, and the radio's loud. I'm like, turn the fucking radio down, and they're just laughing. They're drunk and laughing. And then he opens the door and the fucking loud music, and I get out, and he's just like, all right, man, fucking take care, see you later. And they just fucking slam the door, loud music, and I'm like, I'm dead. I'm fucking dead. And then they back up out of the fucking yard. And they, instead of backing straight up, because look, it was just a miracle they made it on the way straight in without hitting anything. Of course, they back up and they cut the wheel and they hit my neighbor's light post that's in the fucking yard. They clip it and bent it at like an angle. And then they fucking go out down the street and they peel out and they drive away. And I'm standing there pressed up against my garage door, because my mom looks out her window up top. She's going to see me in the driveway. Anybody looking out from the other side is going to see me pressed against the garage door like a sneaking villain, like a cat burglar or some shit like that. But fucking, I laid there and I pressed against it, and then I went down into the window, because I had to sneak around to the front and hope no lights came on, and I had to be super quiet, because now I don't even know if my mom's fucking awake. I don't even know if my mom's fucking home. She could have gone to Bob's house. I don't know where the fuck she is. All I know is I got to be quiet, and I get into the window well, and I open the window is in. Now, because when you sneak out the window well, you got to take the window out and leave it out, and then you sneak out the actual well. Well, I get down there, and the fucking window well, the window has been placed back in. I'm like, who the fuck was in the basement? Who put the window back in? So now I got to figure out a way to get it out. Thankfully, they didn't pull the chain and slide it all the way in. They just placed it in the frame. And so I pushed it, but now I've got to try to push it gently and catch it before it hits the fucking ground and smashes. So I'm pushing it, I'm inching it. Now look, and this is fat me in a fucking window well, man. And I'm squashed down and I'm squished, and I'm like, I'm pushing it. And then, and finally it starts to tip, and then it goes to fall, and I grab it, and I'm holding it with one hand and holding the well with the other so I don't go toppling in on top of it, because that's all I need is to fucking cut an artery in my goddamn arm. And I'm able to lift it with 2 hands and put it on the ground. And then I come in and I kick over a paint can, because I think I told you guys before about one time my mom put paint cans in the window to hear if I was breaking in. Oh, what a mess. And sure enough, I knock over these paint cans, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. I scramble, I put the window back in the well, I run into my room, I fucking set it all up, and I dive into the covers clothed, but nothing happens. And then the next morning, nothing. And I go to my brothers, and I'm just like, who the fuck put the fucking window gun in the goddamn? And they're like, oh my God, Mom said it was cold. Like, what do you mean Mom said it was fucking cold? It's summer. Yeah, but Mom said she felt a breeze. And so we went downstairs, and we said the window well was kind of cracked open. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, my mom is a fucking psycho. How does she feel a breeze from downstairs in the basement? That makes no sense. But she did. But, so my point, I don't even know how the fuck I spun into that, was because I've done stupid things, like getting into a car with 2 drunk dudes and almost dying on the way home and being scared out of my fucking mind. So when I tell you not to get raped by John Wayne Gacy because he wants to put handcuffs on you at 3 o'clock in the morning, please know I'm no authority. I've done just as many dumb things at 3 o'clock in the morning as you have. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, would me coming upon these 2 people having sex in the clump of trees, would that count as a meet cute? Perhaps it would. Only if I had grown up to marry that girl would it then be a meet cute. If I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're blowing this guy. You know what, honey, there's something about you. And then next thing you know, we're walking down the aisle, and she's spitting on my cock. And we walk outside, and people are throwing balloons full of Italian dressing at us. Whee! So fun. So, how did I? So, getting back to meeting Randy and talking about the ball game and whatever the fuck. So, Randy is she's when I moved to town here, and I told you I was working at Marvel. That's how I spun off into it. I was talking about Marvel Mania. I also did game shows when I came to town. And I already told you about I did Greed and I did Ultimate Fan League where the guy's like, I hate Mike. I don't know if I've ever told you guys I did a show called My Generation. I must have told you about it because it has truly one of my top 5 most embarrassing moments of my life is associated with My Generation. So I'm sure I told you this. If I haven't, I'll tell you right now. I get to My Generation and the way that show works is it's on VH1 and basically, they pick a team from the 60s to play a team from the 70s, and then you compete in general music trivia, specializing in the years that you say you're specialized in or the years you grew up in. So I show up, and again, they're going to pair me up with somebody. I don't know who the fuck it is. And I show up on the set, and I'm also worried, too, because it turns out, and this happened before with or later with Ultimate Fan League, but Craig Shoemaker is the host. The Love Master, Craig Shoemaker, who I have actually opened for and worked with several times. So in my head, I'm like, fuck, if anybody sees that and recognizes that and knows who I am and he recognizes me, I'm dead. I'm going to get sent home. So I tried to avoid him just in case he's going to remember me. But what I should have realized is that Craig Shoemaker is famous and has no fucking idea that I opened for him 3 times at the fucking Laugh Stop in Newport Beach. Even though he loved me and was really nice and requested me the few times he came back, I was assuming he wasn't going to remember me. So we wound up doing, the backstage thing where they interview everybody, and we're playing. It turns out I'm playing a team from the '60s, and they introduce me to the person who's going to be my partner, and her name is Randy, the lovely Randy McDonald. And she was very nice. She was a cute girl, and she seemed soft spoken and seemed kind of shy. But I said to her, I remember actually asking her, I go, all right, what are we getting into here? And she's like, what do you mean? I go, how good are you at this? And she's like, well, I worked at K-Rock for a lot of years. So I mean, I'm ready for this. Like it was fucking cool because she, again, she was cute and she looked kind of unassuming and, but also I could tell she was fucking ruthless. She was a goddamn killer. Well, I worked at K-Rock for a few years, so, I'm ready for this. I was like, that's all I need to know. I said, anything I won't know, you'll know, and anything you won't know, I'll know. Right? She goes, right. So I said, good. So then we didn't sit around together. And I sat down. We waited for the game show. Then we went out and play, and we destroyed. It's just as good as Ultimate Fan League. Like, we fucking murdered these dudes we had to play these dudes from the 60s. And it was essentially like, Flo and Eddie. Like, the 2 guys from the Turtles showed up, and we fucking massacred them. And pretend me and you and me getting our ass kicked by Mike and Randy. So we fucking destroyed them. I mean, really, really crushed. And they were humiliated. They even said so. Like when it finally ended, they were just, that was humiliating. They shook our hands and they were nice. And then we went to the speed round. And in the speed round, I had to feed Randy things. And she had to guess them. Because I said to her, I was like, what do you want to do here? She goes, oh no, you talk faster. I'll guess, but you feed. And I said, it's great. Let's do it. Because I said, I can do either one. She goes, no, I'm comfortable doing this. So I said, great. So I had to describe things that were on behind her. And then she had to guess them. And dude, I think we had a minute. And I think I got it done in 30 seconds. I mean, it was just a fucking walk in the goddamn park. It's another one of those things that I have on video somewhere. I don't know where the fuck it is. I get 150 fucking videotapes in a box, 2 boxes. And if I ever go through them, it's a treasure trove. It's gold. It's old sets from like the 90s when I was doing stand-up. Oh, you want to see those, don't you, folks? Don't you want to see my 30-minute demo that I used to send to clubs to get fucking booked? With my Zubaz, oh Jesus, my White Sox hat and my silk jacket. I look good, folks. Oh, on stage in Fargo, North Dakota. Shots of me bombing, me with a mullet and a Batman shirt. Jesus, you guys have no idea. This is the holy grail of oh no, Mike. But also in there, I have all the Ultimate Fan League episodes, and I have this My Generation episode somewhere. I don't know where. So when I mentioned a humiliating moment, first of all, I had to wear my glasses for the show. This was the first game show I ever did. So I was worried I wouldn't be able to see the board because I've always had an issue with things that are far away. And but it was never, I mean, now it's, now I need glasses to drive. I mean, I can drive without glasses, but I much prefer to wear my glasses. It's just better because then I can read street signs. But back then I was worried that I didn't know how small the print would be. I didn't know what, so I actually wore my glasses on the air. And this is probably 420 pound Mike. This is still 80 pounds away from peak Mike. But I was pretty big and I was probably 420, 430. And so it's me in a fucking turtleneck black turtleneck, and a fucking glasses. I look like 4 hipsters. That's what I look like. Just fucking snuck in under a circus canopy. It's just fucking awful. I look like 4 beatnik poets. I look like literally Jack Kerouac and all of them just getting together underneath a black sky to talk about ennui. That's what I look like. I look like ennui. So behind the podium, that's not that much of an issue because my big gut is hidden and the rest of me is hidden. But when I got to come around and feed Randy, that's an issue because then I'm on camera and I'm standing out there. And normally, again, as a fat person, I hold my gut in all the time. Like I've become well versed in how to appear to people. I hold my gut in when I'm walking. I try to, you try to stay small. You try to do the best you can because there are parts of me that are incredibly unflattering. I mean, they're just awful. My gut is a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. So that's the thing is I have to try to hold it in as much as I possibly can. So out front, I'm playing a game. Like I'm just trying to win. So I'm not even thinking about it. So I let loose. I just ooze all of me out as much as I possibly can. And any camera from the side is going to catch me at every single angle. Like there's poor Randy. And then all of a sudden my gut shows up. I'm still 6 feet away. It's that kind of thing. I'm looming over the whole proceedings. I'm the black hole sun that has come to wash the rain away. Or the pain away. What is it? Black hole sun, won't you come and wash the rain away? All right, whatever. So I'm feeding her bang, bang. It's quick. And when she gets the final answer, we're playing the game and I just go, boom! Like I fucking yell, boom. And she runs to me and I catch her and I lift her in the air, which is fucking awesome. Because as I've always mentioned, guys, lift women up. Always close with the lift. If you're hugging, don't just go to a woman and lift her up. Don't be that fucking idiot. Women, don't keep your hands off ladies unless they invite you. But if you've ever got any woman who comes up and gives you a big hug, lift her up because they don't forget it. Case in point, I was at a baseball game the other day with a woman I met 20 years ago. So, anyway, so I lift her up because I yell boom and she comes running to me and I lift her up to celebrate the win. But and now we're going to get into the humiliating part. I know what you're thinking to yourself. You couldn't hold Randy and you fell down? No. The momentum from Randy tipped you over and you fell on your back? No. What happened was, and again, I will tell you, I may be the only person in the world who noticed this. I'm not going to even specify just America. I may be the only person on the planet who saw this happen. Because first of all, I may be the only person on the planet who saw my generation. I might be the only person who ever watched the fucking thing, other than Randy. I know she watched our episode. But she runs to me and I catch her and I lift her up with one arm and I put my other arm in the air and it's just like, fuck yeah. But when I put my arms in the air, this black turtleneck, which has been working very hard all show long to do its best to conceal the damage I've done to myself, decides, you know what, man, this is on you. So I've got her in one arm and I'm lifting her up, and then I've got my arm in the air and the black turtleneck comes up, and it's just kind of an instant. I mean, it just sort of happens, but all of a sudden, just monstrous Mike Schmidt gut is exposed to the world. Oh God. I literally just got chills even saying it. It's so horrifying. Look, I'm down to about 310 these days, and I don't, I'm not a shirt off guy. I used to, the last 5 years or so, I actually gained some confidence. I started going to lay out. I went to the beach. Once I got down to 254, I was feeling real good about it. I didn't care. I didn't mind. I felt confident and I felt good about myself for many different reasons and factors. But back then, and on national television, fuck that. And it's like I didn't know what happened at the time. We celebrated, we went crazy, we won, we got our prizes. But later on when it aired, I'm watching it. It's fucking 5 months later or whatever the fuck it's on TV, and I see it happen, and it's just in slow motion. I've got really pretty girl in one arm, and then hand thrust to the sky, and then look at all of Mike's sadness come rolling out of that turtleneck. Look at all of Mike's failures come bounding out of that turtleneck to haunt him for the rest of his life. Because I can still see it in slow motion in my fucking head. Shirt up, gut out, and I'm telling you, it may have lasted a half second, not even a full second. But to me, forget it. They filmed the whole show with me with no shirt on. And every category was Mike's fat for 100. You know what I mean? That's all I can remember. Other than winning, that was pretty cool, and lifting Randy in the air. So I meet Randy then. I meet her 20 years ago on the set of My Generation. I've not spoken to her since. And then I a few years ago, whatever, she finds me on Facebook, and we become friends on Facebook, and we don't really talk. You know, and my life has been my life for the past 5 or 6 years, and I'd put up photos, and she was always commenting, you know, but again, we never spoke, we didn't hang out, I never saw the girl, but she would always write, "I love your love," because I would write, you know, I'd put up photos like, I love this, you know, I love my Jill, I love this girl, and she'd go, "I love your loving love is so lovey and lovely," you know, and just all these cute things that she would write. So cut to the last 6 months, my life has been a bit, you know, complicated, and things are happening. And then Randy writes me a note on Facebook, and you know, she's just check it in and say hi, and nothing heavy. She wrote me a note about music or something, and then I wrote her a note back about music, and then she left me a voicemail, and I wrote her back, and then she went to U2. And she had put up some pictures on her page, and I go, "Hey," what was the parking situation like there? And she goes, "Oh, you know, you should go here and park," and just general connection where we're talking back and forth, and she's great. I mean, she's really nice, and we had a good time, and she was really funny, and she's this awesome energy, and so we talked back and forth, and then this was kind of funny. We were talking some more, and and this is all through Facebook Messenger, by the way. I don't know where she lives. I don't know. I don't see her. I still, again, haven't seen her. And she sends me a note, and we're talking, and then she goes, "Hey, by the way," and she sends me her phone number. She's like, "Now you have my phone number." And when it came in, I felt, you know, it's funny because Jesus Christ, I felt very much like the kid who didn't know how to make a move again. The kid who doesn't know what steps there are to take, because, you know, texting and stuff has taken the place of all that. You know, when you were a kid, you used to get a number and you'd jump to the fucking moon and you'd do your best not to Favreau it at the end of Swingers. You know what I mean? You had to think to yourself, when do I call? When's the best day? What do I do? How do I get a hold of her? But with Facebook Messenger, we're just talking back and forth, and so I'm talking to her every day. I'm not even thinking about it. But I wasn't even thinking in terms of this was romantic or any of that nonsense. We're just talking, you know, or dating or any of it. But then we started to talk more and more, and I really dug her and I liked her. But also, I was still kind of, you know, up in the air, and I wasn't sure what I was doing or what I should be doing. And then she gave me her phone number, and a light came on. I was just like, "Oh, man." And I actually wrote back to her. I texted her, and I said, "Thank you for your phone number." I go, "This used to be a very special thing, and Facebook and texting has taken that away. But now I felt the exact same way I felt as a kid when you would get somebody's number." And then we started talking back and forth and texting, and then I said, you know, she lives in California, but far away from me. Not super far, but, you know, it's an hour and a half drive. And I kept hinting, like, because I wanted to see her, but I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know, did she want to come up here? Did she want me to come down there? Because I knew what her situation was with her, you know, what she had going. It's a thing where you don't want to betray anybody. I can't get into it, but it didn't seem like her situation was, she's not married. Don't think that. I'm not that guy again. But at the same time, she's got, you know, the obligations that maybe wouldn't be best for me to go to where she lives. So I held off. But I kept hinting. I'm like, "Well, you know, I don't know if you ever make the commute up here. If you do, you know, I'll," because early on she had said to me, "Hey, I'll buy you lunch sometime." And I was like, "Yeah." I go, "You still owe me a dinner." And that's kind of how I don't remember how to do any of that. But then I did. All of a sudden you just remember. And we start talking, and then I kept hinting, about seeing her, but I was like, "I don't know if you're ever up here, you know, if you want to do something, if you want to do this, you want to do that." And then tickets went on sale for it. And I wrote her and I said, "Hey, do you," because I had texted her, I was seeing Atomic Blonde at the ArcLight, and I texted her a photo of the screen with the A and the L, and she's like, "What's that, shadow puppets?" And because if you don't know, that's exactly what it is. They have two shadow puppets holding up an A and an L for ArcLight on the screen. That's their little screensaver at the ArcLight. And I said, "Yeah." I go, "You've never been to the ArcLight?" She said, "No, I haven't." I go, "Oh my God, for someone who loves music and media and movies like you do, you have to go. It's a beautiful theater. It's huge. It's the old Cinerama Dome." She goes, "Oh my God, I used to go to the Cinerama Dome all the time." So then tickets for it went on sale, and I just bought two because I knew I was going and I'd find somebody to go with me. And I said, "Hey," and this is a month ago, and I said, would you be interested in coming up here to go see it?" And she said, "Oh my God, yeah, I would really like that. You know, when is it?" I told her it was Friday. I said, "You know, you can come up." I said, and then I didn't know what to say because the commute is almost like an hour and a half. So I bought tickets for an 8 o'clock Friday night movie, and in my head I'm like, well, to come up in Friday traffic for an hour and a half and then to go home right after, it just seemed weird. But I don't want to presume anything, and I don't want to say get a hotel room, and I don't know what to do. Again, it's that thing where, so I'm hinting around. I'm like, hey, when you come up here, it'll be fun, and maybe if there's anything else you wanted to do that weekend, let me know. And I'm dancing around it, and she's like, yeah, I'd love to. Whatever we want to do would be fine. And then finally, because I'm 50 fucking years old, I went, you know what? And I even wrote her. I go, look, I've been dancing around this for a while. Would you want to stay at my place that weekend? Could you come up for a couple of days, and maybe we can go to the movies, we can go to a Dodger game, and start talking, and it would be really nice to look into your eyes for the first time in 20 years. And I said, I'll sleep in my living room. You can sleep in my bedroom. I'm not presuming anything. I'm not that guy. But if you came and stayed and hung out, that would be really fun. I would really like that. And she just went, oh my God, yeah, I would absolutely. I'm in. We're doing it. And then, of course, you do cartwheels all around your house because you're like, yeah, that worked, and I can't believe it worked, and I'm excited to see her, and this is going to be totally fun. And then she came up, and then it was that thing where I'm really good at putting off myself to try to do fun things. Like I would put off earning money because I think it's fun to go and hang out for 4 days, and then it comes time where it's time to earn some fucking money. Especially now with me needing a fucking laptop and a microphone, and I got to pay my taxes. I get all this other shit. So I'm coming around to being a grown up. Like I'm really trying to get some discipline in my life. Now that said, I'm recording this on a Wednesday when I told David I'd record it on Tuesday, but that's, it's just, I find myself making this a chore until I hit record, and then it's fun. But it's always this looming, lurking thing where I make it work until I sit down, and then it's no longer work, and it's actually fun. I'm trying to conquer that in my head, which I'm doing. I think I'm doing a pretty good job, and I talked about that earlier in the show about conquering who I was as a person, and I'm getting to that also at the ball game. So, but I said to Randy, I said, if you can come up Thursday night, that would be great. So she came up Thursday. She brought me gifts. She brought me a framed Foo Fighters poster from their last tour, like a piece of custom artwork that's amazing. And she brought me a framed Cheap Trick Hall of Fame poster that they've all signed. And Xander put Hall of Fame on it. I mean, it's fantastic. I can't wait to show it to Pat because it's really fucking cool. So, and it was because I had texted her, from my apartment. She's like, do you have anything on your walls? Like, they look so bare. I said, all I got on my walls are Mr. Blonde. He's the only guy on my walls. She's like, all right, well, I'm going to bring you some gifts. And I'm like, don't bring me gifts. Like, don't. I still find myself doing that thing where I'm whether you're ready to jump into things or what you want to do. And in my head, I'm just like, just have fun. Don't make it anything. Don't look for expectations. Don't make it something. Don't make it this big deal where you're being like, well, I got to do this. And that's and then who are we and what are we? Why don't you just have some fun for once? Why don't you just relax and have a good time? And meet somebody who you haven't seen in so long. Because again, all I'm doing is texting with her. I don't even really know her. So I was looking forward to getting to know her. She came up Thursday. Spent Thursday night talking for like 3 hours, 3-4 hours, and then Friday we, I was excited because one of the things I like doing is I like making sure my house is clean and going to buy food. I said, what kind of coffee do you like, and all these different things, and it turns out my coffee maker, as you may know, has been repossessed. So I didn't realize that when I was gifted that initial coffee maker, the other one got thrown away. I don't know if I did it. I think I might have. Like, I don't need this old one anymore. Well, now I get somebody coming to the house, and I'm like, hey, man, what kind of coffee do you like? And so I had to go buy a coffee maker. I had to get a bunch of different stuff. And it was just neat to prepare the house. And I know you're thinking to yourself, Mike, you need a microphone. You bought a coffee maker. Yes, I get it. I believe me, in the moment I said it and thought it and did it, I realized that you guys are all going to fucking probably just turn the show off and go, well, I can't fucking listen to this guy anymore. But that's what I did. So fucking sue me. And again, like I told you last week, if you want a refund, call me and let me know. But yeah, so we got up Friday and we made coffee and talked some more and talked some more and talked some more, and then got ready and went to the movie. We saw It on Friday. And I'm going to tell you this. Let's talk about It for just a second. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm going to tell you this. If you haven't seen it, go see it now, like this instant. Like, put your fucking iPod down and go check it out because it is amazing. And I know people are like, oh, well, there's this and there's that, and you can nitpick the shit out of it all you want, all right? But this movie had the same vibe to me that Gremlins had, that Aliens had, that like Raiders or Ghostbusters, that big event feel to it. I went to see it Friday night with her in a full house theater at the ArcLight. and people cheered and laughed and screamed and jumped. And it pays off for me. You know, I can I nitpick it? Certainly. There's a couple of things that I'll talk to you about sometime if you see it, but it doesn't matter. You know, 98% of it was a fucking fantastic experience. It was amazing. I just loved it. I don't want to give things away, but there's one particular thing in the movie. There's one particular thing that they chose. It was an aesthetic choice they made, a character choice. And it makes this whole thing go over the top because, you know, he's creepy and scary and there's kids but it really captured youth. It captured that age group. It captured 13 and 14-year-old boys and girls on bikes making fun of one another, not knowing what sex is but joking about it, saying fuck you to one another. And, you know, it's the 80s, so the bully uses a word that you don't get to use anymore, but it's perfect because it's in that movie context where it should be used. And the kids are just making fun of one another, but you know they love one another. And also this, the little kid, Georgie, he's in the little raincoat in the beginning of the movie. He's beautiful. He's like a kid you want to steal and have and raise him so he can breed other cute kids later. I mean, he's such a gorgeous little boy. But then later on, man, when this girl who plays Bev comes on screen, there's a scene where she talks to this kid, Ben, who's Ben from Soch. He's a little stocky kid, and he's the new kid in town, and nobody pays attention to him. But she's nice to him, and she signs his yearbook, and you love her immediately. It's like the scene Roger Ebert used to talk about in Silence of the Lambs. When you see Catherine Martin singing Tom Petty in the car, you love her immediately, and it makes the rest of the movie work because you're rooting so hard for them to save her because you don't want anything bad to happen to her because you saw her singing American Girl in the fucking car and you loved her. Well, when Bev talks to Ben as he's holding his science project and he's trying to get his bike unlocked and trying to make sure things don't fall down. He's got like a big diorama thing that he made, and she talks to him like a human being. She uses his name. She takes his yearbook. She sees there's nobody else who's signed it, and she writes in it and she puts hearts. And I don't even want to give away the exchange because there's a fun little exchange they have that pays off later too with a couple of callbacks. It's fucking brilliant. It's so fun, and you love that girl the second you see her. I don't know what it is about her. Because look, she's a beautiful girl, but she captures all of that wonderment of being 14 and having a crush on an unattainable girl. It's all encased inside of her. And I'm sure I'm projecting a little bit because I'm 50, and anytime I see things like this, if they're good, I will have these moments of nostalgia where I'll go, man, that's never going to happen for you again. You're never gonna have that moment of first love where you see somebody. There's a great scene where, you know, they all go swimming, and then she's sunbathing, and all the boys are just staring at her. She's laying there with sunglasses on, taking in some rays, and every one of them is just, they can't keep their eyes off of her because she's magic. Because women are magic. I've talked about it before. Women are just magic. And when you're a little boy, they're mysterious, they're everything. And they just throw you for a fucking loop, and you don't know what to do, and you don't know why you feel that way. And you talk big, and there's bravado about sex and fucking and your big dick and all this nonsense. But in reality, when it comes right down to it, you're just standing there at the keg looking at the girl and not knowing what to do with yourself. You have no idea. And all of that flooded home watching this movie with this girl, and then the scares, and you really love the characters. I mean, I thought it was brilliantly done. I loved every second of it. And I would recommend that you go see it immediately. And then Randy and I, we watched that, and then afterwards I'm like, do you want to go eat dinner? What do you want to do? And you know, I'm trying to impress her with my knowledge of good places up here, and she's like, I don't know, I'll trust you, whatever you want to go to. And she loved the movie, and we held hands through it, that kind of weird magical thing, and I had my hand on her leg, and every time there'd be a jump scare, I'd squeeze her leg, and she'd look at me, and she'd ask, that thing where she'd kind of look with her eyes, be like, are you okay? And I'd be like, oh, and we'd continue watching the movie. And I like affection. I memean, I like that a lot. So that was a really neat experience. And we leave, and I said, where are we going to go? Do you want to eat something? And she said, I don't know. I'm happy. I'm just happy with you, whatever you want to do. I said, well, are you hungry? She goes, well, yeah, I'm hungry. She goes, but I mean, I don't need, and I go, well, let's go here. Let's go there. I'm thinking of all these different places. And then I go, you know what? I go, would you just want to go to a taco truck? And she said, yeah, I would love that. So I took her to the taco truck by the Three Clubs, which is it's really good. I've gone there with like Kilt Bill and listeners after fucking when the Tease was there 2020, and I've eaten there many times, and I love it. And I've actually taken, I took a mod there. It's just a really good food truck. They do really good food. And on that day now they've added a new thing where they have their Al Pastor is on a spit. So they actually have a guy carving it right in front of you and throwing it on a flat top. So Randy and I went, and here's the best part, man. It was Friday night, so it was around 11 o'clock, 11:30. It's hopping because the Three Clubs is a bar. It's got a lot of people in it. So there's about 20 people outside at this joint. And I ask her what she wants. We order some food. We sit down. We split it. We share it. Split a Coke. And we were walking away. I took a picture of us. Maybe I'll put it up. But it was like that thing where I took a picture, but I go, don't post this, man. Don't. Because if I post pictures, then it turns into what that I didn't want it to be, hey, look. Because we're hanging out and we're friends and it's awesome. But you don't want to be that person. And I'm trying to, like I said, I got to think of me too, And I had to talk to her about this. I said, hey, is it okay if I talk about you on the show? And hoping that she'd say it was okay, because then my next thing was, because I'm going to talk about you on the show. I mean, you're going to come up because the show's about my life and I have to talk about what I've done and the things that have gone on. And I'm learning lessons as I go forward to maybe be more honest about things and try to be as, and I told her that. I said, I got to, in the beginning, I said everything. I talked about everything that happened. And then as time passed, I became a little more guarded about things, or I wound up not talking about things because of wondering how it would work and how it would affect, whatever. You guys know. So she said, yeah. She goes, I'm cool with it. I go, you sure? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I'm because she doesn't listen. She went and she listened to 3 shows, and she told me, she said, I really like what you do, because she's a broadcaster too. She has a gig at a radio thing in Laguna Niguel, and she's writing a book. I mean, she's fascinating. So, but she understands what it means to be a broadcaster and to do this. So she said, I listened to like 3 of your shows, and she goes, and I loved it. I think I'm fascinated by what you do, but I'm not going to listen to it anymore. I said, why not? She goes, because it feels like being a voyeur. It feels like peeking into your life. And I go, well, you do understand I'm sharing my life with the world. It's okay. She goes, yeah, but I don't, not yet. She said, I don't want to do that just yet. I said, okay. And I liked it because she wants to know me. She wants to get to meet me and talk to me and hang out with me. And I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because if because if she went ahead and sat down and listened to this and she heard me, going down on some chick in a fucking high school classroom and then fucking Italian dressing all over the goddamn ground and me getting bukkakied by the Land O'Lakes chick, she probably wouldn't be, she'd probably wonder who I was as a person, not realizing that this is who I am, but it's all ties in and what the fuck. But we went to the taco truck and we sat underneath, it was outside. So we got to sit outside and talk and eat and look in each other's eyes and kind of realize more about each other. We go home on Friday. And then we got up Saturday and went to the ball game. We hung out here, at the house, and we wound up going to the game. It was an early game, and we're sitting there, and she actually picked up the seats for the game. And she said, she goes, I overspent because I wanted to sit close, because she's a huge Dodger fan, a gigantic Dodger fan, and this is her only game of the year. And she's like, so I wanted to make sure it was memorable, and so she bought seats. We were 8 rows up from the field, behind the first base dugout. They were gorgeous seats. And we're there and we're having a good time. We're just sitting and talking and laughing. We meet this couple next to us, Ruben and Irma. And they were very nice. They had just driven cross country from Cincinnati. She'd been teaching there for the summer, but now she's back. Whatever. They were super cool. We just had it was really fun to sit there and watch the game and talk to people and hold hands. And we're having a fun time and we're chatting. And I'm talking and I'm telling her stories and we're having fun and we're laughing and we're joking. And in front of us, there's a couple. They're not directly in front of us. They're 3 seats over and 1 row in front. So I can see them, because they're in my eye line every time I turn to talk to Randy. So I'm talking, and the dude looked like Peter Coyote, and the woman had kind of an Angelica Houston vibe, but they were, they were a little older. When I say a little older, probably like 55, so only like 5 years older than me. And the woman once looked back at me, and I smiled, and she smiled at me, and I'm still talking to Randy, and we're talking, whatever. And in about the 4th inning, I'm talking to Randy, and I was telling her a story from Never Not Funny, because the guy just hit a home run. I think it might have been the 5th inning, and I was telling her a story that when I was on Never Not Funny, that I had told Jimmy I could hit a home run in a Major League Baseball park with an aluminum bat, and Jimmy was like, "Fuck you, you could never do that." I go, "No, I'm telling you I could." because I had just told her a story that I went to a Milwaukee's baseball park once because we were talking about how amazing it is that guys can throw 99 miles an hour. I said, it's astonishing. I go, the problem is everybody thinks they can do it. Like, they get mad at these guys if they make a mistake. I go, but then if they try to do it, I said, I'll tell you what, I went to a fucking batting cage in Milwaukee, and they had a pitching thing upstairs. It was with a radar gun. And I was like, all right, let me step up here and show everybody what's what. And there's a high school kid. He's throwing like 71 miles an hour. So I'm like, all right, well, give me a ball. And I heaved back and I pitched and I hit 52, I think it was. And there's people watching. I'm just embarrassed out of my fucking mind. I'm like, oh man, give me another shot. I throw for like 48, like even less. And I'm like, holy fuck, is it mechanics? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then I have to realize, well, maybe you just don't know how to pitch. Maybe it's not just mechanics or whatever the fuck, or a faulty gun, you idiot. Maybe you don't have the talent for this, but you convince yourself that you can do it. And I was explaining that in the context of me telling Jimmy that I could hit a home run in a major league park with an aluminum bat. And I was explaining it was because when I was in high school, we played on the high school field, and it was like 330 down the line, 390 in the power alley, and I played a game where I hit 3 homers over the fence with an aluminum bat slow pitch. So I think if I could, if you're throwing me 60-mile-an-hour meatball fastballs with an aluminum bat, I could hit one out in Wrigley, at least in the fucking basket. I think I could definitely do it. Just because I'm a big fat dude who could generate enough power and torque that I would accidentally run into one and hit it out. And me and Bardo argued about it on Never Not Funny. He's like, never, you could never do it. And I'm like, I could. And he's like, how many swings? I said, I don't know. I mean, if it was infinite swings, I'm sure I could do it. But if you gave me like 20 swings, I'll bet I could do it. And he's like, never, you couldn't do it. So that was never a result. So I'm telling this story to Randy, and I see this woman look back at me with kind of like a sour face. And I see her, she elbows her husband. And he looks at her, whoever the guy, whatever the fuck. She elbows Peter Coyote, and he looks at her. And I see her do it. She gestures, she's talking, she gestures with her thumb towards me. He looks. And then with her hand, she goes, bap, 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 bap. She moves her mouth up and down like a puppet. Ba, 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 ba. And like I said, I've been doing the best I can to avoid confrontations and not worry about things like that and just go, oh, well, whatever the fuck. And I think I've grown up quite a bit, and I've avoided that sort of thing. I mean, granted, a few weeks ago I told you about the guy who came to my door, but I apologized immediately. I should get some points for that, shouldn't I? No, I know you say no because I'm not a child. I should be whatever the fuck. I get it. But she gestures at me, and she moves her hand like ba 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 ba, and I see her do it, and I'm looking right at her, and Randy's next to me, and we were talking about baseball a second ago, and then there's a beat. I see this fucking chick do this, and I go, too much talking for you? And she doesn't look back at me. I go, I saw you. I know what you did. Am I too loud? Is there a problem? Do you have something to say? And it happened on instinct. And look, I know why it happened. It happened because I was embarrassed that I was sitting there with this new person and a person would call me out for being me. I didn't like it having pointed out that apparently I was too loud or too this or too whatever. Because she could have leaned to me and said, hey, you're loud. And I didn't even think I was loud. I was just talking. But again, I'm the guy yelling frickin' frogs gay at the goddamn ceiling. Who the fuck knows? But I have a general barometer. But I've told you, I've gone to shows when I went to Seeger, that woman had to look at us and go, hey, this is, I really wanted to see this show. You guys are joking around. And you have to put yourself in that person's position where you go, fuck, is this their only Dodger game too? It's Randy's only Dodger game. Maybe it's their only Dodger game. They saved all the money to sit in these good seats. And I'm talking about hitting a fucking home run on 20 swings in Wrigley Field on my podcast. I mean, maybe they don't want to fucking hear it. But it didn't matter because in the moment, all I know is I'm there with this new person who I want to like me and I want to like her. And this person made fun of me. They pointed at me, yap, yap, yap. He's talking too much, whatever the fuck. And I said what I said. Too much talking for you? I can see you. You want to get something to say? And there's a beat, and in my head I go, what the fuck are you doing, man? In my head. And then Randy's looking at me, and not scared or anything, but she's like looking at me like puzzled. And I said, I'm not talking to you. And she laughed, and I laughed, and I go, no, I go, that woman, she just gestured at me that I was talking too much. And Randy goes, so? I go, well, yeah, but she she pointed at her elbowed her husband like I was talking, and that's why I'm trying to get her attention because I know she can hear me even saying this now, and that if she would have talked to me, I could have said, I would have apologized or we could have talked about it. And Randy goes, so what? Let's watch the game. And, yeah. So what? Let's watch the fucking game. Again, it was just all this weird embarrassment and wanting to not look like an idiot in front of this new person. And I know why it was there. I know why it all manifested itself. But I was telling Shannon about it on Monday. And I was saying that thing, I was talking about how on this show I used to go, but then Mike showed up. And I've been saying that less and less because I'm Mike all the time. I'm not Mike sometimes, and when Mike shows up, bad things don't happen. I mean, I'm Mike whether it's good things or bad things. I got to stop separating it and saying like, oh, well, when the real me showed up, everything went south and everything turned bad. That's not the case. I'm the real me all the fucking time. And there's different facets of me, certainly, and there's different sides of me, absolutely, and there are things that I do that are mistakes, but there's also good things. And I've been conscious of not being that guy for a very long time, and I think I'm a lot better. And so, extrapolating it, I've wondered if it's hurt the show. I've wondered if the fact that I don't get into confrontations and that I don't find myself in situations where I want to hit somebody or I want to get crazy. And look, also, I may be minimizing these. I mean, granted, a guy pulled my hair a couple of weeks ago and I chased him out of my fucking car. I mean, this shit still happens, but it doesn't happen with the frequency it used to. You know, I used to come here every week and I'd be mad. Like I said, I'm mad at a sink. I beat up a car. I'm pissed off at a fucking post office. And now I'm trying absolutely not to be that person. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to be upset about things you can't control. And also, part of it is the fact that, like I've said, I see things happening in the world that are so extreme. Whether it's weather and climate change or Nazis and people arguing and everybody putting everybody in their place and everyone trying to assert themselves. And I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I don't want to be part of the problem. I don't want to be someone who's vibrating and ready to fight or ready to go off and ready to have some sort of fucking extravaganza where I hit somebody and this happens. And I don't. I say that all the time. I'm 50, man. That's why I didn't go back to bouncing. I don't want to hit anybody anymore. I'm too old. I'm on the back 25 and I want to enjoy every fucking second of it. And I want to tell you guys about every fucking second of it. And I want to be Mike for every fucking second of it. I don't want it to be a bad thing when Mike shows up. It's funny. I had a guy write me and he's like, I know you love chaos. And so this must be a really crazy time for you. It must be. And I'm like, no, not so much anymore, man. I've had my fill of drama and chaos, I think. Like I said, I'm on the back 25, and I want it to be a good thing when Mike shows up. Hi, I'm Mike. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Snapchat at Mike40YOB. You can send me all sorts of cool-ass things that you want to send me. Photos of your cat. I enjoy those, certainly. Photos of your dogs. I like those as well. I like a doggo. I'd love to own a doggo myself and have them here in the house, but unfortunately the apartment does not allow such a thing unless it's a service animal. And you know, it's very difficult to get a permit to have a permit to have a service animal in Los Angeles because you have to go to a doctor and go, ouch, my hair hurts. And they go, bingo, here's a weed card and a service dog. They just hand them to you. They got them in a drawer like a fucking Zucker Brothers filing cabinet. They open up and hoist out a puppy and just throw it in your arms. But I'm on Instagram and Snapchat at Mike40YOB. Send me photos of yourself. Send me photos of your landscapes and your hot air balloon races and your bicycle. Oh, I saw, what did I just see? Somebody showed, a guy on rollerblades doing tricks. I like all of that stuff. Show me your when you're up hiking in the woods or you find a hidden waterfall. I enjoy all that. I watch all of them. I find myself watching Instagram stories all the time just because they're places I haven't been, places I want to go, or even places I have been. But I like seeing people experiencing life. I love it. So please, share your life with me via Snapchat or Instagram at Mike40YOB. Remember that artbydmh.com exists. That's our friend David Mex Hernandez. Does all the music, does all of the artwork for this show. He's the coolest. He's a great guy, and he's my friend, one of my great friends. I would consider him perhaps my best friend. But I don't like to get too fine a point on it because there are so many people out there vying for the spot of best friend. They're venturing through land and sea to vie for being my best friend. A lot of V's involved in that sentence. And we know V is for victory and also B is for vendetta. And please, let's not forget the 5th of March or whatever the fuck. Oh, never forget, remember the 5th of September, right? I don't fucking remember. I don't have the mask. I'm not an anonymous. None of those things. I'm certainly not an anonymous. I'm feeling, hold on. Again, with the fucking fishbowl microphone, I'm feeling that the amount of spit that would be involved is too much for you guys. I hope it isn't. I guess I should probably lean back. Maybe you can hear me here. The fucking frog's game! I just want people walking by my window and they look back and I have to lean back in the chair and I scream that. That's pretty fun. David Hernandez at artbydmh.com. You can find all of his cool stuff. First of all, be his friend at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. He wants that. He needs your friendship. It's his lifeblood. He needs to sit in his dark house and look out at the window just like Marlon Brando in fucking Apocalypse Now and know that he has many admirers out there just waiting to hear from him. So please be his friend at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. And then go to artbydmh.com and get some artwork. Buy the Valscapes, buy the Gycons, buy
any sort of custom artwork you might have for you and me who want to be people and do those sorts of things. And I will tell you this now. Let's talk about it. It seems like it should be me doing this now. Here's a good thing. David is also doing, get this, man. He's doing caricatures for your Facebook profiles. And I know you're thinking to yourself, well, what does that mean? Well, it means if you send him a photograph that is a badass photograph of you, he will replicate it via watercolor and artwork, and then you can use that as your Facebook caricature and get all of your friends talking about you. He has drastically cut prices because it's the fall season and he has to pay for books for my godson because he's going back to school. Actually, by books I may have mispronounced knives, but still. There's a limited time on this too, by the way. So go ahead and you have to get him a digital scan of a watercolor. Oh, I apologize. He will give you a digital scan of a watercolor formatted for use as a profile pic. It'll be 600 by 600 DPI. So it's square, basically. What he does is he squares it up to go ahead and fit into your Facebook box. But what you need to do is private message Mex for a price. Go ahead and get him at facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. Write him on there. And again, all this business, if you want to write him at artbydmh.com, that's fine, but that's mainly for Art by DMH business. This is Facebook business. So contacting him via Facebook would probably be better because then he can go to your profile, see what's up. And like I said, and by the way, he prefers to use PayPal. So stop sending him bottle caps and string. That is not going to fly. He's not happy about that. But go ahead and private message him on Facebook for the price. Again, like I said, he uses PayPal. He will give you a digital scan of a watercolor formatted for use as a profile pic for a limited time. He's drastically cut these prices for the fall. You do need to give a reference photo and an email address. He can't just guess what you look like. He can't just guess how to contact you. Please give him a reference photo and an email address. It'll work out. And a head and shoulder portrait would work out great. But anything more like holding a tennis racket or riding a bike or doing a fucking cartwheel or making out with your boyfriend, cost is going to go up. Because you know what? That's the cost of doing business in the land that Mex inhabits. So again, just to cover it again, he's drastically cut the prices for a limited time. It would be a digital scan of a watercolor formatted for use as a profile pic, 600 by 600 DPI. You private message Mex on Facebook for a price. He prefers to use PayPal. You get him a reference photo, you get him an email address, and he'll make a head and shoulder portrait of you for Facebook because he's the fucking greatest. We know that. You know that. I know that. And this is a fucking once-in-a-lifetime offer. And I'll tell you what, you're thinking to yourself, well, what would that look like? How would it appear? Now, you've seen the artwork he's done for like Catherine and Matt when they got married. You've seen the artwork he does for this fucking show every single week. But if you want to see a specific example of what I'm talking about here, go seek out Kevin Davis, who's a listener to the show and actually employed Mex to do this kind of thing. Because right now, Kevin and his lovely wife Leslie have been watercolored up by our good friend David, and they are using it as their Facebook profile picture right now. I don't know if they meant for me to tell everybody in the world that they were involved, but hey, guess what? You are now promotional material, Kevin and Leslie Davis. Thank you for listening to the show, but a special thank you for getting Mex involved and having him do your Facebook caricature photo, because it also provides us with an on-air, online example of exactly what these people are getting themselves into and what kind of brilliance, what kind of amazing work David, and they can contact him and get him on there. So please contact our friend David and get him involved. He's the guy. He's the man. He's the one you want on board. And he will do a Facebook caricature free. It's a limited time, though, folks. Caricature. I think I had some problems with syllables there. Caricature. Remember that Ryan Dirks is the Facebook guy for this. So he's not the Facebook guy. He's the web guy. The whole web. He says, fuck Facebook. I can handle that. But he does the whole web, my website. He's at facebook.com/Ryan Dirks. You can find him there. Superfan Giovanni, not super fan of me, but super fan of others, certainly. Superfan Gio was kind enough to put my last two podcasts in his top 10 on Podgods. And I'm sure his partner went, boo, because Gio's my champion. I don't understand why he enjoys the show as much as he does. But he does, and good for him, and I love him for it. Thank you so much there, Gio. Oh, fuck, I forgot to tell you something about the goddamn Dodger game. All right, I'll tell you that on the way out. It just dawned on me because I was talking to Gio when it happened. I'll remember. So thank you, Gio, for doing all that stuff. Remember, he did the YouTube page, and that exists. You can go check out all the YouTube archives and listen to old shows via there and catch up on my past and make it your future. That's fantastic. And please remember this, folks. I'm at Anchor.fm. You don't give a fuck about the website address. What you care about is the app. Download the Anchor app to your phone, and you get daily anchors from me as I go ahead and spout off nonsense and send it out via the airwaves to you, and you can listen to it on your phone. They're really quick. I've done a good job of kind of honing them down. I mean, you know, my instinct is to go long, so it's a 5-minute limit. I was taking the whole 5-minute limit a couple of times, but then you're just getting a bite-sized fucking pocket-sized podcast, and who knows if you want that sort of thing. The feedback has been great.
for the people who are listening. But like I said, Anchor has ratcheted up the pressure. They're like, Mike, we'd love for you to get more listeners. We'd love for you to have more unique listeners involved. And I think I've got the month of September to accomplish that. So tell your friends, man. Tell them about Anchor and tell them to get on board with the 40-Year-Old Boy Anchor station and listen to the stuff that I'm putting out every single day. It's stuff that you've come to know the brilliance of me once a week. Well, now this is once a day at least. It could be twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. I'm not going to take up too much of your day. I don't want to be intrusive and I don't want to be inclusive. I want to begin the day with a friendly voice that's unobtrusive. But get the Anchor station, man. And what you can do is if you want to download that, you can go to the App Store and find Anchor and just download it right to your phone and then search for the 40-Year-Old Boy and you'll see it. You'll see a little Homeboy logo. And I'm going to be putting up the other archived episodes that you can listen to and the new ones that are coming up every week. And I'm going to archive the other old ones that I did because people were saying, dude, we missed these because they're only up for 24 hours. Well, I will archive them and you can hear all of them. So go to the the App Store and download the Anchor app to your phone. And remember, you can go online to anchor.fm/Mike40YOB and find me there. I don't know if you can listen to stuff or just stare at my page. Perhaps you can listen to the latest one when it's up there, but go to anchor.fm/Mike40YOB.
In your ears, feel the stings, deepest fears when your phone pings. Another drunk, another punk, afoot to kick your trunk. Bittersweet, taste defeat, what's that stain on your backseat? Call your name, it's Uber's game, and you'll hear me scream again. Like old Schmidt, don't you quit. You got to fight the pain. Like old Schmidt, don't you quit. Don't you quit. Don't you quit. Struggling in your cage, bite your tongue and hide your rage. Times have changed in your career, and sometimes you must want to hide in your car half the day as the miles just roll away. Isn't this your third car? Closer every day to your fourth. Like old Schmidt, don't you quit. You got to fight the pain. Like old Schmidt, don't you quit. Don't you quit. Like old Schmidt, don't you quit. And don't you go insane. Like old Schmidt, don't you quit. Don't you quit. You stay strong, don't be glum. Though that She-Hulk stole your gun. Black hole Schmidt, don't you quit. You got to fight the pain. Black hole Schmidt, don't you quit. Don't you quit. Don't you quit. Black hole Schmidt, don't you quit. Don't you quit. Don't you quit.
Want to remind you folks about, well, nothing, I guess. Nothing to remind you about anymore. There's stuff I can tell you about, certainly, but there's nothing to remind you about. Although I guess, technically, if I told you last week, I'm reminding you about it again this week. But can you tell how much I'm struggling with the verbiage, the new verbiage? as I come out of here. I used to have to remind you people about something. I used to have to spell out an email address, and now we're spelling out the address of the Anchor app, and then I'm sitting here telling you I got nothing to remind you of. It's an odd thing. 9 years of doing the same thing over and over and then having to change it on the fly. But that's where we are. So what I can do is I can tell you this. We have sponsors. Let's put them here, right? Let's put them right in the front. Of course, our great friends at GetTheButters.com. That's our friend Jerome. GetTheButters.com. Use the code 40YOB for all butters and balms and lubes and bombs and masks and sugar scrubs and gloves and loofahs and sponges and fucking towels and shower caps and whatever the fuck else he's got over there. GetTheButters.com. It's amazing. Use the code 40YOB and then buy whatever you buy and then run a hot bath and sit in it until it arrives. That's what I say. Give it 3 whole days of a hot bath, although you know I'm not normally a fan of a bath. But if you just sit in a bath without like soap and stuff, then it's kind of like a hot tub with no churning. And then after 3 days, it's not really a hot tub anymore, but you're waiting for your butter, your balm, your bomb, your mask, your lube, your loofah, your hat, your shower scrub, whatever the fuck. If you sit in a hot tub and wait for it, a hot tub, not a hot tub, but a hot tub, with the shower head blowing all over you, well, that seems weird because you got it all plugged up. Then you just be flooding your house. And then you got I got to get a mop. I was going to get a map. You got to get a map to clean it up. Oh, God, I'm groggy. All right, so getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB to use any and all products and buy them all and have them sent to your house and use them all in the bath at once. Just make yourself under siege with whatever you buy from getthebutters.com. Make sure you're completely covered and coated in butters and balms and lubes and bombs and masks and everything. Fuck out every other fucking thing. And don't forget to put them in your butt. That's exactly what you should do. In your butt, put the butters and balms and bombs and lubes and masks in your butt. Put a dinosaur bone in your butt as well. If you want to, that's up to you. But that's our sponsor right there, getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB. Get this, as I stifle yawn, but that says nothing about what is about to come because this is a very exciting thing to say. I was in a documentary called Earbuds, folks. Do you know about this? Earbuds was a podcasting documentary made, a while ago. And then it was released at the Podfest, and now it's out now on all digital platforms. It's available at Amazon. I think it's at Google. It's on iTunes. And you can still buy hard copies if you go to Comedy Film Nerds and go to their site. They've got it in the Comedy Film Nerds store. And when you do that, tell them Mike Schmidt told you to come over there. It can't hurt for them to think that I'm a hitter. Or at least to say, hey, look, we're buying this because Mike's in it. That seems even weirder. Hold on, yawn. All right, I sucked it up. But yeah, man, go get that. Earbuds is now available, so you can get the, as I said, you can get the hard copy, and then I'll sign it when you see me. And I know you want that. I know you've just been waiting to yourself, oh my God, I can't wait till Mike gets a Sharpie and writes his name on a silvery disc under the light of the silvery moon. But you can go ahead and get that now. But also, if you don't want to do that, stream it, man. It's available, like I said, at right now on, I don't think it's on Netflix, but it's on Google, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on all those other plug-and-play fucking nonsense joints. So please... and Google it if you got a problem finding it. Just look for Earbuds streaming, and then you'll be able to find out exactly where it is, and you'll be able to use it. It'll be fantastic, and you'll love it, and you'll watch it, and you'll see Sanai in Japan, and you'll see the guys in Australia, and then you'll see all the people here podcasting in the States, and you'll see me shouting and working at a job that I haven't had in about a year and a half. But you know, what the hell? Time marches on. So please get the Earbuds streaming and check it out. And if you see it, tell me what you thought. Because I thought it was okay. I dug it very much, and I was excited to be a part of it. But why don't you let me know how you feel about it? So we can all be in this together, and I can know your opinions. Because you got my opinions on my show, but I'm never going to listen to your fucking show. So if you already talked about it on there, I couldn't fucking care less. But if you tell me personally, one-on-one in an email or some sort of phone call, don't call me. I'm never answering the phone, but you know what I mean. Send me a note. And tell me if you like, because it's out there. Now, you know, the guys who do Earbuds also do the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. Have I mentioned that I'm going to be at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival? Have I mentioned that to you? The dates on that are October 6th, 7th, and 8th. Mark your calendars, folks. They're being held this year at the beautiful and historic Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. I don't know if you know this. That hotel, that's where they had the Academy Awards back in the 30s. Now, what does that mean to you in 2017? Fuck all. But who cares? That could mean that I'm trotting the same stage as a Greer Garson or a Greta Garbo or somebody else with a double G. Maybe Triple G will be there after he punches out Canelo this weekend. But yeah, man, the Los Angeles Podcast Festival, the Truth and Lies is the theme this year. And so we're going to be there I'm recording as well. But not only am I there, folks, There's a ton of other great live podcasts. There's My Favorite Murder with Karen Kilgariff, who's a fucking genius. There's The Dollop with Dave Anthony and that other guy. They're geniuses. There's The Jackie and Laurie Show. That's Jackie Cation and Laurie Kilmartin. I think Jackie's also doing The Dork Forest. I know the Bill Burr people. All those people are all going to be there. It's going to be a fantastic extravaganza. So it's all those people are there, and I'm going to be there. I don't have a date yet. I don't have a time yet, but I will be there at some point during the weekend. Now, I'll be performing, certainly, but I'll also be hanging around all weekend and maybe bopping in and seeing some of these shows. Like I said, a Kilgariff, a Jackie and Laurie, a Dollop, something like that. But you go to lapodfest.com and buy your tickets now, folks, because they are available for 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's October 6th, 7th, and 8th. Buy them for all 3 days. And again, just come down and watch the Biltmore Hotel morph itself into some sort of podcasting thing after once hosting the Academy Awards. Oh, how the mighty hotels of this town have fallen. And see, this is they really, this is it's an independent event. It's produced by podcasters for podcast fans. It's not corporate. We always say keep it indie with Mike Schmidt. And look, certainly there's going to be all sorts of fucking networks and stuff there. But I'm solo. I'm an indie person. But this is more of an indie event. I'm an indie podcast. This is an indie event. No corporate sponsors, no streaming. I guess that means no money for anybody, including those people, but who knows? But seriously, go to LLAPodfest.com. Me, a bunch of other people, go to LAPodfest.com. Buy your tickets now, available for October 6th, 7th, and 8th. And again, like I said, I do not have a date, but buy them for all the dates. And come see me as I talk in the hallway to people who've been there before and think to themselves, why are we here again? Well, because it's a brilliant show. And also, again, the Biltmore Hotel. This is where Clark Gable once fucked Marilyn Monroe in a bathroom. That seems like it's probably not real, but you never know. It happened in the 30s. It was back then. And this is where Judy Garland had her first taste of booze out of Mickey Rooney's shoe as they partied after their fucking thing upstairs in their rooms. Possibly. All of that could be true. She and Jack Haley. Jack Haley banged her, and then she actually got drunk on his silver paint that was still on his cock from him playing the fucking Tin Man. Right there in the Biltmore. You can see where this all took place, folks. So come on down, buy tickets right now at lapodfest.com, and check us out on October 6th, 7th, and 8th. It will be amazing. Do you want to be an Uber driver? Do you want to be a Lyft driver? I guess what I should be saying is, has your life gone horribly awry? If it has, guess what? I've got codes for you. To be a Lyft driver, you'd use my code, and this is all caps, Mike 720057. That's MIKE 720057. All caps, please, for Lyft. And for Uber, you would use all lowercase DJZW1YTTUE. That's DJZW1YTTUE. Use my code, go out and drive, make me some money, let me be the Uber pimp who sits back in his house and does a whole lot of nothing and collects while you're out there gallivanting to and fro. Don't gallivant while you're Ubering. It's never a good look. And it also makes us look bad. The other drivers, we're going to be like, fuck, that guy's gallivanting. I can't keep up with that. I'm just moping. I'm poking around. But this dude's out gallivanting. You know why? Because you're fresh-faced. You're a new guy using a new code, and you're excited to tackle this new challenge. But after 2 years on the road and driving strangers around, I'm moping. I'm moping and poking. So go gallivant if you want, I suppose. But you know what? In 2 years, you'll be fucking moping and poking too. Still, I don't care what you fucking do. You want to mope? You want to poke? You want to sashay? You want to gallivant? That's all fine. If you want to Alaman left, fine. Just use my code to do it. Uber, DJZW1YTTUE, and Lyft, Mike 720057. All caps for Lyft. All shrinky letters, lowercase. That's how you say that. Shrinky letters. Lowercase or shrinky letters, however you want to look at it, folks. That's how you do it for Uber. DJZW1YTTUE. I was going to tell you something else about going to the Dodger game. First of all, let's talk about it again. Fucking fantastic. I can't give away things. I don't want to give away spoilers, but you got to go see it just so I can talk about it on the goddamn show. You have to fucking see the movie. It was terrific. I cannot stress enough how much I loved it. It was an old-timey, like, scare a minute, but laugh a minute, and the dialogue is great, and everybody's fun. It's a really good time. And all of the kids are great. The kid from Stranger Things, the dude who's stuttering. There's one kid, the kid who's got allergies and stuff, he's overplaying it a bit. You'll see what I mean, because he's a little kid, and so he was the weak link. But man, that girl Bev, when she walks in, you're just staring at her. You're like, Jesus Christ, how beautiful she is. And then all the other kids are great. And the kid who plays Ben is this little, like I said, a little stocky kid. And he's terrific. You know, again, I'm shocked at these kids who can act like adults. It's fucking amazing to me, but still come off as a kid, right? And he goes through some terrifying stuff. I don't know how you can have a fucking little kid do some terrifying stuff like that. They all did. They all have terrifying things that are happening. How are they friends with Bill Skarsgård at the end of that fucking thing? Because that dude's running around terrorizing everybody with fucking multiple scenes where he's angry, and I can't even give it away. I don't want to. But this is totally funny. We saw it on Friday. And then we went to the Dodger game on Saturday, and we're sitting there, and Gio, my friend, superfan Gio, not superfan of me, but superfan of others, certainly, he had texted me to say, because he was really excited, he went Thursday, and he texted me after he saw it, he's like, it was great, it's exactly what I wanted, and I didn't want to read his text because I'm seeing it Friday, and I don't want to be fucking bullied or pushed into a corner and have him drop his influence on me, and then I have to look at it with a jaundiced eye, with a jaundiced Gio-type eye. But I went to the movie, I loved it, and so if I'm at the game and I go to text him back and I'm like, dude, it was fucking amazing, and I'm writing him and he writes me back, he's like, yeah, I thought this and this, and I said, dude, I think the exact same thing, and this is not a joke, this totally happened, because again, we had such amazing seats. I'm texting Gio about it, Randy's on my left, and she looks up and she goes, is that the kid from It? A family had come down the aisle and sat 2 rows in front of us, and you see them turning in, and it's the stocky kid who played Ben in It. Ben from Soch. The kid who, you know, puts all the newspaper clippings on his wall. You'll know it when you see it. I'm not giving away any spoilers. But he's the new kid in the movie. He's the new kid in town. And it was him. I look up, and because I thought she was goofing around, you know, because usually I hang out with comics and we're like, hey, how does Al Thicks think about it? Hey, what's up, AT? How's the chicken, baby? But she meant it because she's a civilian, and I look up, and it's truly him. Him and his family, they have lanyards because they must have been in a box somewhere, and then they came down to sit in the seats. And he walks, and I'm literally typing about it in my right hand. My left hand is on Randy's leg, and she looks up. I look up, and she says, hey, is that him? Yes, it's him. And this will sound terrible, but here's how I knew it was him. He had a tight-fitting T-shirt on, and in the movie, when you see the movie, you'll know why that gave away exactly who he was. All right, that's all I can say. I don't want to give anything about it. I don't want to tell you anything. But basically, he, you know, there's he's wearing a tight shirt. He comes around, and it's his face. You saw him, and so I text Gio, and I'm like, dude, you're not going to believe this. Ben from Soch just sat 2 fucking rows in front of me, and he writes me back, and he's like, Ben from what? And, like, he had no fucking idea. And then I said, no, the new kid in town, the one Beth signs his yearbook, like, he's here. He's fucking sitting in front of me. And I took a picture and I sent it to him. He's like, holy Jesus, how the fuck does that work? I go, this might be the craziest coincidence in my entire life. And he goes, I can't believe that happened. I go, no, me neither, dude. I'm literally talking to you about it. We just saw the movie last night, and he's here. He's sitting 2 rows in front, and he's with his family. He's got a sister, a brother, and they could have been his friends. I have no. I don't want to say. I didn't card everybody. I don't know who the fuck they were, but they're sitting up front, and it was so great. And Randy's like, I can't believe that just happened. I go, no kidding. What a weird ass coincidence. So we watched the game. And he keeps getting up. They kind of go up. They get some ice cream. They go up and get a hot dog. And then around the 7th inning, they go up and they disappear. And Randy looks at me and she goes, oh, my God. I go, what? And she goes, how amazing would it have been if we would have found a red balloon for him? And again, I'm not giving away anything in the movie, but you saw the trailer, and Pennywise has red balloons all the time. And in the scene in the library, Ben sees the red balloon floating. That's all I can say. And when she said it, I was overcome. First of all, I was so proud of her for thinking of it. And then I was equally angry at myself for not thinking of it. And I was also angry at both of us for not thinking of it an hour earlier. Because how fucking amazing would it have been, at least for me, and I'm sure he wouldn't have enjoyed it. Who knows? Maybe his dad would have been angry. I got no clue. But to find a red balloon, and I wouldn't have even had helium in it because obviously it would have just sailed away. But just to come behind him and drop like a red balloon into his lap. I mean, this is the day after the movie opened, and just to see him sitting there and watching the game, and then the red balloon falls in, because again, in the movie, the red balloon is ominous, and it means that, hey, there might be a mean clown around. So, and honestly, how much, if he would have wheeled, he would have gone, hey, there's the mean clown. He would have seen me in the back yelling at Peter Coyote and his fucking wife. He would have said, hey, that's the dude right there. But I thought to myself, man, I looked at Randy, I go, you have no idea how good this idea is. She goes, no, I think, and I go, no, like that thing where you want to go, no, stop. This is a class A. This is a genius fucking idea. God damn, it would have been amazing.
trapped inside yourself. It's easier to hide when you pretend you're the knight. Women love a guy with a giant neck.
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.